Does that mean you can impede a law enforcement officer?
No, but that wasn't the case on January 6th either, and they were pardoned. And just this week, they were marching down the street to the Capitol again. Why are you shaking your head?
Because this cannot be your go-to.
But no, I'm not saying that.
On January 6th,
I am pro law enforcement.
Democrats said we're pro law enforcement. Today they say they're Gestapo. Which is it? Which is it?
No, I will say the vast majority of Democrats are pro law enforcement, and we believe that law
Tim Walz,
enforcement.
he says they're Gestapo.
Let me finish.
He says they're Gestapo.
Scott,
do you agree?
Scott, let me finish. I do not agree. Let me finish. Many Democrats, and the vast majority of them, are pro law enforcement. They believe that law enforcement should actually get the training that they deserve and they need. Hold on, I'm not done. Hold on.
You don't know about this guy's training.
Let me tell you.
Stop implying that he's not trained.
In Minnesota,
he was dragged by a car last summer.
They
call them the Gestapo, Sochi.
They're pro law
enforcement. They call them murderers. They call them Nazis.
Why is it one rule for ICE? And why is it another rule for the Capitol Police or the Republican Party? Can you answer that question?
I have the same rule for all law enforcement. I think we should respect all law enforcement.
Has two rules.
You all have select one day a year. One day a year you like the cops.
Well, look,
the other 364 days you call them the Gestapo. That's the Democratic position.
That is not the Democratic position.
Yes, that is the Democratic position. 364 days a year, they're the Gestapo. On one day a year on January 6th, they go, oh my God, the Capitol Police is the greatest thing. I don't remember anybody trying to kill Capitol Police officers. Do you guys remember that? I don't remember that happening anywhere. No one trying to drive cars at them. No one pointing guns at them. Nothing like that. I think it's pretty ridiculous that this is where we're at in America. But hey, everybody, how you doing? Great to see you tonight. I'm Jim, and here I'm going to tell you the news. We have a little show going for you tonight. There was a little miscommunication. There was supposed to be a stream with me and Joe, but then all of a sudden, Joe had other plans, which he said he wasn't feeling well, and so he was going to do like just a locals or a members-only stream. So I had a stream planned, then I canceled it, and then I re-put it up because just trying to get everything going. And I did promise a show tonight, so there is going to be a show tonight. Let's see who's here tonight. I'll talk to everybody. And the first one that was here was Renee Collins this evening. Wow, there's a lot of chat going on here tonight. So let's see here. She said, what happens if feed cut out? Well, I explained that. And are you and Joe streaming together tonight? No, we're not streaming together tonight. He's doing some OnlyFans, or not OnlyFans, members only. Brian Ogden's here. Great to see you too. He butchered 4 chuck rolls. I don't know. Hopefully Jim is going to be alive. Jim's live always. What the F's here? Hey, what's going on? Great to see you. He says, I'm so over the members only BS and locals just saying. Well, it's across probably Jim and the lawyer. No, it's just me. Joe's doing his own thing. Kevin's here. He wants to say 11 p.m. Well, it is what it is. It would have been earlier, but stuff happens. Stuff happens. Let's see, going through the chat. There's some private conversations going on about working in California. Kelly's here. What's up, Kelly? Great to see you. Uh-huh. Kevin says, I was a ride operator at the Long Island, New York amusement park in college. That's cool. Hank's here. What's up, Hank? Great to see you tonight. Yeah, the 4th of July fireworks were the best show in town. Yes, they were great at the Great America. I was a ride operator at the Great America for 2 seasons in high school. I went to. I did grow up in Chicago, go to high school in Chicago, but then I did go to California and stay with my uncle for about 2 years, 3 years, something like that, and tried to finish high school there, and then went into the Navy. And I worked at the Great America. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Gundam's here. What's up? Let's have it go. Oh, yeah, you had an ad. Yeah, I shut them off. I just didn't make it the first one. Sometimes you get clipped before I have to shut it off after the stream starts. So sorry about that. And then Sunshine's here. What's up, Sunshine? And then Brian comes in to be first with the goal here. $5 says, I'm only going to give this. Well, I appreciate everything. Every single dollar helps. And with that, I will announce that, yes, there is a goal. Every show, usually. Unless I announce there's not a goal. Where for every $100 in total that comes in across every platform, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, gifted memberships on YouTube or Rumble, or becoming a member on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Twitch, Locals, Coins, Cash App, and PayPal, which are pinned in the chat along with something called Ko-fi, which I got because someone recommended, and I've never, I don't know what it even is. But anyway, in total, things that come in, when we had 100, I add an extra hour to the show. For every 100 in total that comes in, we add an extra hour to the show. The show could be as long as you want, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, as long as you, the audience wants it to be. And as an added bonus, when we hit 50, we activate the Bellavision, which there she is, just sleeping there as usual, unless a single individual donation of $25 or greater comes in, which could be a $25 donation on PayPal or Cash App, or a $25 Super Chat, or $30 anything type Super Chat over $25, or if someone was to donate, 5 gifted memberships on YouTube or Rumble or something like that, that would be an automatic Bellavision for the evening. Let's do this, and let me correct the banners here. So with that donation, we are now 95 away from the first additional hour, and 45 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much, Brian Ogden, for that $5. It's greatly appreciated. Chattels here. Bak. What's up? Great to see you. Yeah. Bitches be loud. They do. Hey, SWA223. What's up? Great to see you here again. Hey, Phil Coggins is here. What's up? Nice. 32 people, only 3 likes. Sometimes you have to refresh it to get that to come up. Glad you're streaming, Jim. Me too. I'm glad. Joe would not do good on OnlyFans. Well, maybe. I don't know. Audra's here too. What's up, Audra? So great to see you. It's always wonderful to see you in the chat. Always makes my day. Woodtick Mike's here. Hey, how you doing? Yes, Jim and Joe are not the Duke brothers. No, we're not the Duke brothers. Definitely not the David Duke brothers. Anyway, that's a joke. Lady Bama's here. Great to see you, Lady Bama. All right. Lisa, glad you're on. You too. I'm glad you're here too. Lenny Lou's here. Ready to ring in Friday. Hi, all. That's great too. Good to see you. Well, I guess I came in long enough to donate a like. Well, thank you, Chattel. That's awesome. I appreciate it. You can see the ice officer's feet sliding backwards on the ice from the SUV pushing him. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. And then there's stuff, we're going to get into it, like, what's it called? Wikipedia trying to claim that the woman narrowly missed hitting the officer. Or something like this. Like, what? Yeah. Commie News Network using her citizenship. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there is a video of the front angle of the ice shooting. She hit him. Yep. Yeah, she did. I saw it. We saw it yesterday. Refresh done. Yeah. Yeah. So how many was there now? I don't even know. Her SUV was pushing him on the ice. Yes, it was. That over the chat. I don't know what that means. Anyway, so we're going to get into the news. We're going to talk about some stuff. We'll see how long the show goes tonight. Sorry for the late start. Like I said, I had planned some stuff. I had she was a lesbian mother. So there's 20 now. Well, that's, 20 is better than 2 or 3 or whatever it was. I I had some issues, some stuff I had to take care of this afternoon, so I was late getting my stuff together. And then when I tried to, me and Joe tried to coordinate a show, it just didn't work out. So he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing, and it's fine. Hey, Pat Hacker's here too. What's up? Great to see you. So I have another, I don't know if it's the same video. I have another video here of these people talking. So we'll see if this is the same video. I'm not sure.
I agree with you, Jonathan. I think there's some details we don't know yet, and we'll have to learn more about it. What strikes me is, first of all, it's extremely sad and unfortunate that someone died. I mean, the political fighting and disagreements aside, it's terrible. You don't want people to die in law enforcement situations or otherwise. But it strikes me that we are undergoing an epidemic of political vigilantism right now. Why are people showing up in vehicles, in convoys, not just in Minneapolis, but all over the country in an effort to obstruct lawful federal law enforcement activities? This is not an isolated incident. We have had hundreds of car rammings against ICE agents all over the country. According to DHS, this lady in this car today, along with other vehicles, had been tracking ICE agents around. Why are people believing that they can drive their car into a federal law enforcement situation and that is an appropriate thing to do? I understand they don't like the fact that these agents are enforcing existing immigration law, but that's not how we change laws in this country. If you don't like a law, you talk to the politicians. You don't drive your car into the middle of a building or a law enforcement situation that's being occupied by the people who are simply there to enforce the law. If I don't like how much the IRS is charging me in taxes, I don't drive my car into the Treasury Department and try to run somebody over. I call my congressman. Political vigilantism is being encouraged by Democratic officials like the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, Peggy Flanagan, who earlier this year told people to, quote, put your bodies on the line, and Tim Walz calling these guys Gestapo all year. What do you think happens when you radicalize a base of people about this?
It does strike me, Scott.
Yes. What do you think happens? Well, thank you. I look well rested tonight. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lesbian. Yeah, she was married to a man, and I guess the man died a couple years ago, and then now she's married to a woman. So did I hear about the shooting in Portland? Yes, that's the first story of the evening. It's coming up. We got to give CNN credit for having both sides of the story. You can be gay and have a child. Yes. But she was married to the woman was married to a man. There was a story about that. She was maybe divorced, and I think he died in 2023 or something. So now, I don't know. Hey, Gypsy's here. What's up? Great to see you. Good evening. Awesome. So yeah, and I have a bunch of other stuff, which I'm not going to get into right now. I'm going to read some news stories, and then we'll bounce back into Twitter, because I didn't really have a bunch of time to get a bunch of Twitter stuff together, because that's a really pain to do it. Just because a state declares itself a sanctuary state doesn't make illegals legal. That's correct. And Mark Webb says, never give CNN any credit. Every lesbian I've ever known is divorced with children. I mean, I can say I know one lesbian that's never been married and doesn't have any children. And it's, I won't say who it is, but it's a relative of mine. And I don't know. Yeah, look at Admiral Levine. He had 3. It don't work out the same for the gays. Not a lot of prep work for tonight. It is a Thursday. I'm saying more to the fact of pushing Annie to random families everywhere. Annie or anime or something? Is that what you're trying to do? Anime? I've been a social guy for 20 years. I don't have any problem with gay people. I really don't. I've known many gay people, as long as I just don't like the stuff with the kids. Leave the kids alone. And most gay people feel the same way. They really do. Hey, what's up, Dan? How you doing? The other good gax. Hi, Jim. How you doing? Annie the movie. Oh, Annie the movie. Okay. Jacob Wayne says, watch protests all day. It's a 2020 time. Well. I think it's no, not social. SoCal. Oh, SoCal. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I've only been to Southern California a couple times. When I was a kid, we went to the. I have relatives in California. I'll say. I don't know. Anyway, won't get into it, but. Yeah. This is the first story of the evening. Federal agents shoot 2 people affiliated with Tren de Aragua in Portland, Oregon. Driver tried to run over an agent. Federal agents shot 2 people in Portland, Oregon on Thursday afternoon. DHS says the driver and passenger are affiliated with the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. DHS statement to Fox News at 2:19 p.m. U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in vehicle, not veal. Wow. Portland, Oregon. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational terrorist organization Tren de Aragua. Nick Sorter in Minneapolis. What a mess. The Minneapolis Autonomous Zone is already set. This is sure a distraction from the billion-dollar fraud happening in Minnesota. Yeah, it is. So the vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. When agents identified themselves, hold on. Let's see, where's it? Where did it go? What the hell is going on? What the hell happened? Where did I lose that? Where did I lose that? We're conducting a targeted. Where would I? Wait a minute. The passenger of the vehicle is a target and target. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua prostitution ring involved in a recent shooting. What happened? Why did it just change? That was not what I was reading. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious gang. When agents identified themselves, the driver weaponized the vehicle and attempted to run over law enforcement. Wonder if Walsh decides to stay in the race now. No, he's not going to stay in the race now. He knows he's got problems. This is all trying to keep himself out of jail. Fearing for his life and safety, the agent fired a defensive shot. The driver drove off, and the passenger fleeing the scene. The situation is evolving, and more information is forthcoming. Okay. 2 people were wounded and transported to a local hospital. Their conditions are unknown. According to KATU, U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents shot 2 people around 2:15 p.m. at 102nd and Southeast Main Street. 1 man and 1 woman were wounded. We're still in the earlier stages, said Police Chief Bob Day. We understand the heightened emotion and tension many are feeling in the wake of the shooting, but I'm asking the community to remain calm. U.S. Customs agents shot 2 people in Portland Tuesday afternoon. Portland Police State officers were called where they said they confirmed that federal agents were involved in the shooting. The conditions of 2 people wasn't immediately known. City Council President Elaine Pertley-Gurney said as far as she knew, they were still alive. Portland police say at 2:24 they learned that a man had been shot, called to request help near 146 in East Burnside. Arriving officers found a man and woman wounded from gunshot wounds. They confirmed federal agents were involved. 2 people were wounded, were taken to the hospital. So we'll watch this video.
I am following. They're not answering any questions. Oh, going back to council chambers. Oh. Nope.
What does this have to do with people being shot?
Okay.
Wait, this is a fucking 2-hour video? What are you doing here? Oh, here we go.
And the duties as it relates to the charter. I do support the charter.
With their duties in the City Hall right now at this moment. We do want to go to K2's Jennifer Singh, who's back out in Southeast Portland, where there's a very active scene. This is about 146th and Burnside. Jen?
Yeah, Deb, right now I'm at 148th in Burnside. You can see this is the end of where the road is blocked off. We were just told that it's been blocked off from
Iced
145th
baby.
to
Bum, 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 bum,
148th.
ba-da-da-da.
Now, we just learned that this is not where the apparent shooting happened. This is where we're told a male and a female who had reported
Female?
shot had been
What's a
found.
female?
Now, this happened at 2:24 when they received information that a man who had been shot was calling and requesting for help in this area. This is according to Portland police. Now, 2 people are in the hospital, conditions unknown, but officers since have determined that the 2 people were injured in the shooting were federal agents. Now, you can see the scene down here. Like
No. She just said the 2 people wounded were both federal agents. These were not federal agents wounded.
We are still unsure on a lot of specifics at this time, and we will be on scene trying to learn more. Now, we also did just learn that this apparent shooting happened on the 10,200 block of Southeast Main Street. So this is actually a little bit ways away, but this is where, again, we were told the two had been reportedly found and calling for help. You'd see several Portland police units are still on scene. Again, this is 148th in Burnside, blocked off westbound lanes all the way to 145th. And once again, we are still waiting on a lot of information. We will stay on scene and give you as many updates as we can in the time coming. Now, for now, I'll pass it back to you, Deb.
So, Jen, just to reiterate, this scene where you are is not where the shooting took place. Did the two people drive to that location?
We are still unsure, so let me read what we're told at this time. It says at 2:24, officers received information that a man who had been shot was calling and requesting help in this area, and officers responded, found a male and a female with apparent gunshot wounds, and apparently officers on scene worked to give them medical treatment before they were transported to hospitals. Again, we are still unsure what the conditions of those two involved are at the moment.
All right, Jennifer Singh, thank you for that. That press release we just got from Portland Police Bureau says the shooting happened around 102nd and Southeast Main, a pretty sizable distance from where Jen and Christina are at 146th and Burnside. Those two people were shot by CBP officers. That is according to ABC News, citing local and federal sources.
We want to go back out to the scene where Christina Giardinelli is joining us live.
Yeah, Deb, for some reference, I'm just about a block westbound of where Jen is that you just heard from. I did talk to a neighbor who said they saw those two individuals drive up in a car. Now, of course, that is unconfirmed by that press release that Wright just mentioned from Portland Police Bureau. But neighbors here did say they saw those two individuals drive up in a car. Hopefully, they are doing okay at this time. They said, you know, from the looks of it, at least they were able to drive themselves here. And then police met them here in this neighborhood.
I mean, hopefully they are okay. They reportedly tried to kill federal agents. Why are you hoping they're okay? I mean, you can say you don't want anyone to get hurt and everything, but what about, don't you hope the federal agents are okay that they tried to run over? I mean, you see what we're talking about when we say that the Democrats only support law enforcement one day a year. They do. They don't support these people at all. Oh. They were driving a red Toyota pickup. It's a confusing story. It is confusing.
Allegedly, from what the neighbor said, they may have some family, some connection here, and that is why they came here with their car from where that scene happened, from when the shooting happened. And of course, just very recently getting that information confirmed from the Portland Police Bureau that that scene happened in the address Wright provided you a little ways away from here, the shooting from two federal officers.
50 blocks is not a little ways. 50 blocks is like 5 miles.
Upset. And of course, Portland Police Bureau urging.
Right? I mean, isn't it like 10 blocks a mile or something like that?
We'll be here waiting and getting as much information as we can in the meantime.
Okay, Christina, thank you. The FBI has just released a tweet saying FBI Portland is investigating an agent-involved shooting that happened at approximately 2:15 near the 10,000 block of Main Street in Portland, involving Customs and Border Patrol agents, in which 2 individuals were wounded. This remains an active and ongoing investigation led by the FBI. Follow this thread for updates regarding the matter.
And as you can see with Christina and Jen, Portland police have
Definitely a good time. Take the free plane ticket, $1,000. I thought they raised it to $3,000.
At that original shooting scene near 100th and Southeast Main, the police chief, Bob Day, has released a statement saying, "We are still in the early stages of this incident. We understand the heightened emotion and tension many are feeling in the wake of the shooting in Minneapolis, but I am asking the community to remain calm as we work to learn more." You are taking a live look once again at that scene near 146th and Burnside. Jennifer Singh is there.
Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, again, we are at 148th
Crab bait.
Burnside, again, the tail end of where the scene is closed off.
They did raise it to 3. I thought they did.
Again, this is closed off between 145th and 148th on East Burnside. The westbound lane,
I don't know if there's
district is 2 of my neighbors in my district are now sitting in a hospital bed and hopefully are going to be making it home. But this is not the kind of community that not the kind of reaction from the federal government that we should be having.
Oh, so this guy considers Tren de Aragua to be his neighbors in his community. Huh. That's odd, isn't it? Isn't that odd?
Just happened in our community, in District 1 specifically. I thank you all for covering.
So the demon rats are going to start a civil war. That's what they want. The officer-involved shooting in Portland comes one day after a woman was fatally shot by ICE agents after she tried to run him over in Minneapolis. All right. And the New York Post says federal agents shoot 2 Tren de Aragua gangbangers who weaponized car in Oregon. Well, this seems like this might be a little more productive, this video.
We want to get you now to some breaking news we are following. This is happening in Oregon, where federal authorities say that federal agents have been involved in a shooting in Portland. This is a live look here at the scene. These live pictures coming to us from right outside of a medical facility in Portland, where we understand this all unfolded. The FBI says it is
Well, Ms. Hacker, you say, I wonder how often he has him over for tea. I guarantee he has him over that his T cell count is very low. Brian Ogden comes in. I tried to promise myself I'd be the only one. Well, thank you for the second 5. You're proving yourself to be a trickster. You're very tricksy. Those Roman numerals, I don't know. Wow, 50 million barrels of oil at $40 per barrel is $2 trillion, right? I think so, right? Or 20 trillion? 2 trillion, yeah. It's a lot of monies. Yeah, it's a lot of monies. With that, now the goal has moved. We're $90 away from the first additional hour and 40 away from television for the evening. Thank you, Brian Ogden. 2.8 billion. Yeah, billions. Yes, I thought. Yes, you're very tricksy. 200 billion? Let me see. 40 times 5, 20. I don't know. I'm not a mathematizer. You know what I'm saying?
investigating a shooting, again, involving Customs and Border Patrol agents. This happened in the east part of the city at that medical building.
Yeah, we understand that 2 people were hurt. Not a lot of information, though, about exactly.
It didn't happen at a medical
We
building.
don't have any information on their conditions. We are working to learn more about what happened here. Obviously, though, you can see a number of law enforcement vehicles here. As soon as we find out more about the situation here in Portland, we will bring that to you live.
And obviously this comes on the heels of what unfolded yesterday in Minnesota. Outrage is rippling through the city of Minneapolis tonight, prompting a series of demonstrations as people protest the shooting death of 37-year-old Renee Good.
Now, she was shot and killed by an ICE agent during a confrontation. Federal officials have said that she was trying to run the officer over, while local authorities have a very different perspective on the shooting.
All right, for more, let's go.
Maybe watch the video and then you can have your own perspective.
Connor, what can you tell us about
how much left for Bellavision? Well, any individual donation of $25 or greater gets it, or $40 for Bellavision.
Well, right now we're standing on the block where that deadly shooting happened. You can see where people have sort of set up camp here in a makeshift barricade on the roads getting to this block. Now, Governor Walz has actually told the Minnesota National Guard to be on standby, ready to come in and help local law enforcement if they need to and protect state property. And while there's tension on the streets here, there's also tension between federal and local officials. The FBI saying it's now fully in charge of this shooting investigation. State officials saying they've been frozen out completely.
Yes.
This was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order.
The Trump administration is defending the ICE agent who fatally shot 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good during an enforcement operation in Minneapolis on Wednesday. DHS says the agent was following his training when Good blocked the officers in and says she attempted to run them over with her SUV.
You have a woman who was trying to obstruct a legitimate law enforcement operation. You have a woman who aimed her car at a law enforcement officer and pressed on the accelerator.
Now, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is alleging the FBI denied it access to case materials, scene evidence, and interviews.
The Minnesota Department of whatever has zero authority to investigate a shooting of federal agents. They have no authority to prosecute them. They have no authority to bring charges. It doesn't concern them. It's a federal matter, which means the FBI investigates it. The locals have no jurisdiction. Just the way it is. Now, I'm not saying I totally agree with it in all cases, but I mean, the precedent is there. When Vicki Weaver was murdered by an ATF agent, Lon Chaney or something was there. Not Lon Chaney, that's a sick. Some guy shot her in the head while she was holding a baby. And Idaho tried to prosecute him. The federal judge said, no, you have no authority to prosecute him. And it went all the way up, and it was denied. Zero authority. Zero. You can watch his feet getting pushed backwards. Oh, I'm getting my laundry out of the dryer. I'll be in 10 minutes. Okay, cool. The locals didn't want the help our part of anything. Yeah. Either way, the agent's life is ruined. They've already doxed him. Yes, they doxed him. And that was a Minnesota Star Tribune journalist that doxed him. This is some local news broadcast. This is a local news broadcast that's attached to the New York Post story. I don't know. I like to watch what they say just so I could, see what they're saying and see where the truth is and where the lies are.
But federal officials say this isn't a state case to investigate, arguing it was an attack on federal law enforcement.
They have not been cut out. They don't have any jurisdiction in this investigation.
It feels now that Minnesota has been taken out of the investigation. It feels very, very difficult that we will get a fair outcome.
On Thursday, protesters gathered outside a federal building in Minneapolis and across the country, calling for ICE to leave their cities. And Democratic lawmakers in Washington are demanding an investigation of their own.
Looking at the video, there seemed no justification for what these agents did.
And the Trump administration is reportedly planning to redirect more than 100 Border Patrol officers right here to Minnesota. Back to you.
And Connor,
So that's what we have with those people. And then where are we at here? Sunshine. Thank you so much for the $25, Sunshine. Sunshine gave $25 on PayPal. Thank you so much. So with that, Bellavision is activated, and we are now. Oh, I didn't have the banner up. That's why you didn't know. I see now. So now we are 65 away from the first additional hour of the show. I apologize. I didn't have the banner up. I'm slacking when I do that. But thank you so much for the 25. Yeah, the same guy was hit and dragged 50 feet last year and had 32 stitches. Same thing. Yeah, same guy. So, and that's funny too. They got Chuck Schumer making those statements like, "What? Seriously?" The good thing is Congress has no say. Yeah. Welcome to our commie government, Pesky. Yes, that's right. Oh, G Sharkman, thanks, Sunshine. Thank you for Bella. Good thing nobody watches cable news below 68 years old. Yeah. Well. We all needed Miss Bella. Yes, we did. Let me fix her camera there. Let me get it all correctinized. Let me get mine corrected there a little better. Okay, so I could be this. And then let me do this. Get Bella. Why is it crooked? What is she? How did her bed get crooked? How did this happen? Hold on. Is it mirrored? No. There you go. I don't know. It's so hard. I don't know what's going on. Why this camera seems like it's jacked up since they did the... man, I dropped my phone. Since they did the update. Could you see her good? I was wondering where Minnie Bella was. Yeah, well, she's there. I like it that she has no big old square over her spot. Well, I took it down. what I'm doing is I'll just switch it up. You know, occasionally I'll put the PayPal one in the corner and I'll go back to the Cash App. There's no reason to have them both, I guess. But thank you so much. Yes. So Customs and Border agents shot 2 alleged Ticonderoga gang members who federal agents say tried to run them down in a targeted traffic stop in Oregon on Thursday. Federal agent involved in the shooting in Portland came just one day after Immigration Customs Enforcement agents gunned down anti-ICE activists in Minnesota. Who is writing this? Who is writing this? Beautiful Bella, yeah. In the latest shooting, they fired off defensive rounds when the gang members weaponized their car. Same thing happened. They didn't gun down anybody. Agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants as the driver tried to mow us down. Fearing for his life and safety, the agent fired defensive shots. The situation is evolving. More information will be forthcoming. Oh, yeah. Of course, Jesse Ventura is proud of the anti-ICE protesters. Here's who's really behind the anti-ICE resistance movement. We're going to check that out. Why is this not a link? Federal officials say the driver is a member of the notorious criminal organization with the pastor and illegal Venezuelan migrant affiliated with the gang's prostitution ring. That shifted attention away from the mass Somali fraud. That's what they're trying to do. Communists are writing this. That's who. Yeah, they didn't empty their magazines on him. No, fired one shot. And no details about I think one shot. No shooting about the details about the shooting were released. So police say shooting unfolded 3 miles away. 50 blocks is 3 miles away. Sounds like the author swallowed a lot of bitch sauce. Ventura has been nothing but a joke for 30 years. Yeah, he's a nutball. He's a nuttard, as they say. A nuttard. I want to get this story. But why is there's no link to it? Oh, there we go. So here's who's really behind the Minneapolis ICE resistance movement. Radical leftist groups, including one financed with $7.8 million from George Soros, are behind the anti-ICE protests in Minnesota, the Post has learned. Indivisible Twin Cities, which describes itself as a grassroots of volunteers. Citizen journalist Andrew Adams says a group of protesters are outside Rep. Emily Randall's house in Bremerton, Washington. We can walk and shoot guns at the same time. Yeah, I mean, Indivisible is an offshoot of the Indivisible Project in Washington, which bills itself as a movement to defeat the Trump agenda. It's from Soros's Open Society Foundation. See, like, I would, Jim, you should check out the GoFundMe account for Good. It was almost 1.3 million an hour ago. We're talking about for the cop or for the woman that got killed. Tell these tards, you want to stop ICE, stop paying taxes. Do you have a link to it, Costa Rican expat? You want to put it in the Rumble chat? I'll pull it up. I don't know what. If you want to pop that in the chat, I'll pull it up. Funny, I said Soros on Facebook and got banned. Yeah, for the woman. Wow. Yeah, a bunch of idiots. Nose rings, go figure. Renee Good poses with her wife Rebecca in undated photo. Yeah, look at So a civil rights attorney, Nakima Levy Armstrong, who organized many protests after death of George Floyd, has been active in documenting ICE operations in the city. Yeah, no way this world needs a comet strike. 3 kids. Well, you know. The controversy group is also behind a recent No Kings protest. This is just the same group. This is like, I personally think, my opinion is, all the people paying these organizations doing this stuff can be charged for accessories for felony murder, for this murder. They caused this to happen. Them doing this, they're part of the conspiracy. So they need to stop screwing around. Yeah, she was a Minneapolis ICE Watch warrior who trained to resist the feds. So she wasn't just some innocent person on the street like they're trying to claim. She purposely did this. Oh, her sobbing wife said the ICE shooting was her fault. What happened to aiding and abetting laws? Are they not aiding human trafficking? I'm not a lawyer, but damn, yeah, you would think so. That's what I think, personally. Straight to the Greenland gulag. In addition to the indivisible Twin Cities, which does not identify its leaders, other protest leaders, including the Council of American Islamic Relations, CARE, who is an unindicted co-conspirator in terrorist activities, by the way. You don't have a link. You saw it on another podcast or show. All sorts of people could charge for a lot of stuff, but that would end it, and that's not what they want. Young observer killed in the line of observing. No, she wasn't killed in the line of observing. There are already lies about what took place. They're the ones lying. You saw the video. Yeah, ICE are terrorists. Oh, yeah. Sometimes poet has been described as leftist sources a legal observer. You're not a legal observer when you're interfering. A legal observer is standing on the side of the road observing or whatever. Not, a coalition dedicated to disrupting ICE raids. Well, that's an admission of a felony, a conspiracy to commit a felony of impeding, interfering with ICE investigations. Gundam has it. Wow, yeah, 1.3 million for this. Here it is, 1.3 million. I can't believe it. Can't believe it. So, here's another one. What's it say? PhD student Torres Santiago heads up the Immigrant Defense Network, an umbrella group that works with 90 other nonprofits. This is just all a scam to get our money and funnel it to other people. This is just ridiculous. This is more and more of these we need to outlaw these nonprofits, clearly. This is not working. Yeah, we has Gulag. Send these coons. Both sides are working very hard to bring the U.S. here. Yeah. It's one of the Minnesota attorney and civil rights activist is one of the people helping organize the so-called legal observers who show up at raids throughout the city to harass and interfere with the investigations. She also posts information about vigils and demonstrations. She played a prominent role during the protests after George Floyd overdosed. And when the Minnesota governor announced he would not be seeking re-election because of the welfare fraud, she criticized his move as a retreat. Yeah. I got snapped and $509 in 2 weeks. Okay. When Democrats respond to bad faith attacks by retreating, you just don't just lose candidates. Oh, so bad faith attacks? Oh, okay. Protest leaders Edwin Santiago heads up the Defense Network, which describes his umbrella group. He was born in El Salvador and is the first undocumented immigrant to pursue a PhD at University of Minnesota. Oh, okay. Well, he's an undocumented immigrant. He needs to get the fuck out the country immediately. We don't need undocumented immigrants here fucking with our political machinations and things that happen. Vince says, sorry, guys, I'm late. Arriver, as usual, started at the beginning at 1.5, so I'll catch up before the end. Well, you will. Oh, yeah, they're terror and chaos. So, yeah. So, let's, hold on. I want to find this story, so. This says Renee Good's sobbing wife, who claimed Minneapolis PD claimed Minneapolis ICE shooting was my fault. Womp womp. Yeah, they opened the doors to the Capitol and waved the protesters inside and called them insurrectionists. Yeah, they did. Well, we love you anyway, Brian. We do. It's been a one phony show for a long time. Who's paying for that PhD? Probably you are. Your tax dollars. I really ain't having $10 in my account, and I'll give it to you. Nobody does that. It is ironic. It is. Let's see.
Can I go check a pulse?
No! Back up! Now!
I'm a physician!
Renee Nicole Good.
You can't, somebody just comes up.
Mother of three, fatally shot.
You can't let somebody just shows up and says they're who anything go into a crime scene. because it contaminates the crime scene. What if he does something, removes something, places something, does things? You don't do that. So all these things said, oh, they wouldn't let. You don't. You don't know who he is. Only people that they know who they are, like, actual paramedics and stuff, can come and provide aid when it's a crime scene like this. You can't just let some person on the street that's there. I'm a physician. Is he? What does that mean?
By an ICE agent in Minnesota Wednesday morning was a stay-at-home mom who didn't show any signs of activism, according to family. Videos have...
Who didn't show any signs of activism. Are they really going to lie and say this? She was part of this network that was doing this stuff. How is that not any form of activism? It's all bullshit. Come on.
Gone viral of the shooting where Good was killed when she allegedly floored her Honda Pilot into a federal agent after blocking them in a residential Minneapolis neighborhood during an immigration operation.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my God! What the fuck? What the fuck?
Good was shot in the head as she attempted to drive off, crashing into a parked car down the road. Born in Colorado.
She was shot in the head as she rammed her car into an ICE agent. That's exactly when the first shot was fired.
Colorado Springs, Good, whose full name was Renee Nicole Macklin Good, was a devout Christian who took part in youth missions to Northern Ireland as a child. Good had 3 children, a 15-year-old...
Oh, so she was part of the IRA. She was a terrorist in Ireland, is what you're telling me? Huh. Northern Ireland, the Troubles, yeah. Huh. Maybe that's where she learned how to be a terrorist.
Daughter and a 12-year-old son with her first husband and a 6-year-old son with her second. Good had moved to Valley Falls, Kansas with her parents after her second husband, who suffered from PTSD, died in 2023. She then moved to Kansas City, Missouri before relocating to Minnesota last year and claimed on social media to be experiencing Minneapolis.
Yeah, devout Christian who had 2 husbands, is married to a woman. Devout Christian. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Hey, Wrench Turner, what's up? Thanks for the show, Jim. Keep up the good work. Well, I'll try. Doing my best, guys.
Displaying a pride flag emoji on her Instagram account. Her ex-husband said Good was a stay-at-home mother. The former spouse, who remained anonymous, never saw his ex-wife as an activist and didn't know her to participate in protests. He said Good and her current partner had just dropped off the 6-year-old at school before they encountered the ICE agent.
Oh, yeah, they just
Video
encountered him.
following the shooting appeared to capture the heartbroken partner hysterically crying after Good's
Why
death.
was the partner out of the car?
Riding with her? Did you call any of your people yet?
The Trump administration tagged Good as a domestic terrorist after the shooting. Today, ICE officers in Minneapolis were conducting targeted operations when rioters...
I mean, I don't understand what this is supposed to say. The widow was filmed sobbing, "It's my fault," after her partner was killed by the ICE agent. Well, if you're the one who got her involved in it, that's what's going to happen. Oh, Brian comes in with another 10 now. Fine, let's get Jim some New Year's love. Thank you, Brian. That's great. And now with that, we are just $55 away from the first additional hour of the show. Thank you so much. Somebody checked New York Times video against the originals and found they manipulated them, including resyncing the gunshots. She's a Christian who does not remember the Bible is explicitly anti-carpet punch. Yeah. Everyone has a story. Yeah. Well, I'm sure they did. They resynced changed where the gunshots were, probably took the first gunshot out and made it so that the shots happened when he was at the side of the car. I mean, I don't know. She said, "We're new here." Yeah. Renee Good was outside the car when Renee drove towards an ICE officer who opened fire, shooting the mom of 3 in the head and killing her. Rebecca Good and her wife previously lived in Kansas City, where they lived in the Waldo neighborhood for about 2 years. They decided to leave the country after President Trump was reelected and moved to Canada for several months before settling in Minneapolis. Not activists at all. Just fled the country because Trump won. A neighbor who is not a terrorist, not an extremist, just a mom. Oh, okay, says Joan Rose. Really? So you know her? The Goods were raising Renee's 6-year-old son together. Department of Homeland Security accused her of being a domestic terrorist and weaponized her car to kill ICE agents. Yeah, that's what happened. We saw it. Yeah, she filmed sobbing. It's my fault. Yeah, she's the one who was the activist that got her all into this stuff? Sounds like it. According to the ex-husband, though, she was not like this until she hooked up with the new, but she's a legal observer. Yeah. Footage from the incident captured the SUV idling across a residential street where ICE agents were conducting an operation. She then reversed briefly, then began to drive while turning to her right, prompting an agent who had moved in front of her car to jump out of the way and fire. This is who is writing this shit? New York Post, what are you doing? Sounds like a fictitious biography to me. Me too. Fired 3 shots into the windshield and then the window as it passed her, killing her. See how we're really going to twist this up, aren't they? Going to keep doing it to try and push this bullshit. All the while, Rebecca had been outside the car confronting ICE agents. Yeah, but they're not activists. No, they're not doing anything. Hey, what's up, Snarf? Great to see you. She didn't seem to realize her wife had been hurt until the SUV accelerated away and slammed into the car down the block. She seemed distraught and crying about she'd been the one who asked her wife to go out and protest the ICE operations. I made her come down here. It's my fault. Oh, she should be charged then. She made her go down there. She's admitting it. Charge her. Charge her. The couple was part of a group that had been stalking and beating ICE officers throughout the day. Renee's mother insisted it doesn't sound like her daughter. Well, does your daughter sound like someone who... Renee was one of the kindest people you knew. Oh, yeah, kind enough to drive someone over. She was just performing an illegal U-turn with her wife videoing it from the street when land pirates boarded her car and killed her. Yes. What's it say? Why is it doing this to me? Seen from another angle. Yeah, they're just going to keep showing him on the side of the car. She was previously married to a comedian who died in 2023, and the couple had a 6-year-old son together. The child has now been left an orphan. There's nobody left in his life, the boy's grandfather told the Tribune. I'll drive, I'll fly to come get my grandchild. Oh, good. Go get your grandson. That's what you should do. This just says, Renee Nicole Good was Minneapolis Ice Watch warrior who trained to resist the feds. Yeah, well, we already watched this video, and you guys lied about who she was, so we're not going to watch your stupid video again with your make-up stories. The mom who was killed by a federal agent after veering her car toward him. No, she wasn't veering her car towards him. Her car was parked. She put it in reverse, and then she slammed on the gas right at the agent in front of the car. She was an anti-ICE warrior, part of a group of activists who worked to document and resist. Documenting is legal. Resisting is illegal. You see the difference there? She moved to the city last year, linked up with anti-ICE activists through her 6-year-old son's woke charter school, which boasts has put social justice first and prioritized involving kids in political and social activism. Wow. She was a warrior. She died doing what was right. A mother whose child attends the same school told the Post. Wow. These people are all nuts. I know she was doing the right thing. I watched the video plenty of times. I know in my heart the woman she was doing everything right. So this woman supports running people over. That's cool. They were raising the boy together in a mostly working-class, activist-heavy neighborhood of South Minneapolis, which features tree-lined streets and a large number of homes with LGBTQ plus flags or signs depicting George Floyd. So these people are all weirdos. Just as many others did in the lefty enclave, Good sent her son to Southside Family Charter School, which opened in 1972, and which from its inception has been unabashedly dedicated to social justice education. So it's a school that just indoctrinates kids. It was through her involvement with the school community that she became involved with Ice Watch. I think all the people involved in Ice Watch should be charged as accessories with her murder. Put them times up? I don't know what you mean. From my understanding, she was involved in social justice. We're a tight-knit community. A lot of parents are activists. He said current events like the killing of George Floyd were regular parts of the curriculum. This is fucking insane. A guy overdosed, and you're teaching it to kids in kindergarten through 5th grade? What? And that last month, students took a field trip where they learned about Aboriginal issues for the indigenous people of Australia. Here's it is. Keep track of ICE vehicles in your area. All these people, charge them all. Charge them all. How to submit reports to Minnesota ICE Watch. Similar coalitions of ICE Watch have cropped up all over the country, which activists using phone apps, whistles, and car horns to warn neighbors when ICE shows up. ICE Watch and adjacent groups can turn confrontational with numerous instances of activists ramming agents with their cars. Yeah, they got the right one. They did. Renego was trained against these agents, what to do, what not to do. It's very thorough training. The people who did the training need to be charged. Yeah, they're still brainwashing children about 4. Yeah, at least the boy might have a chance at a better life with grandpa. Maybe. Maybe. To listen to commands, to know your rights, to whistle when you see an ICE agent. Really? Is that what she did, or did she throw it and drive and try to run one over? The group started out as a very loose confederation, but has recently aligned itself with more radical organizations, including Twin Cities Ungovernables. What? Inform and me. You, Jim? I don't know what are you talking about? ICE Watch recently shared an Instagram post of the group which encouraged agitators to bring items that would help them barricade the streets. Even urging people to bring things to burn. Sounds like they're conspiring to commit a crime. This call for aggressive and even violent resistance comes as ICE agents have faced an unprecedented spike in car attacks, surging 3,200% over last year. Federal officials say violent rhetoric from sanctuary politicians is to blame. 66 attacks were recorded during the time period from January 21st to January 7th. In October, Border Patrol agents shot an armed woman in Chicago who attempted to run over agents with her car. Last month, a federal judge dropped the charges against the woman. How is this not a RICO indictment? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. She wasn't a stay-at-home mom. She's clearly an activist, probably getting government money, probably getting paid by one of these NGOs. It's going to come out. DHS says the shooting, which remains under investigation, was an act of self-defense. A county worker who was at the vigil said Good was on the same ICE Watch team as one of her coworkers, that she herself was attending a meeting of the group Thursday night. They were on the same team. They would eat meals together. Oh. School friend Lisa said that lots of families associated with the school live in the area where Good was killed. On Thursday, the street of the neighborhood was lined with heart-shaped signs featuring quotes of Asada Shakur. Oh, the radical black liberation activist who fled to Cuba after murdering a cop. Floyd died of a drug overdose less than a mile away from where Wednesday's shooting happened. According to the Southside Family Charter School's website, it provides academically challenging, socially conscious education to diverse leaders and declares it's proud to offer what it calls social justice curriculum. Yeah, clearly it's a team sport. A photo from its Facebook page shows a dry erase board of students' hopes and dreams for a future, which include Donald Trump's heart grows 3 times as big. Oh, yeah. The Goods have no love lost for Trump. They left Kansas City for Canada after the 2024 election. But what happened? Canada said you can't stay here because you don't have a job and we're not giving you free stuff. So they had to leave. Obviously, no lawyer talk. Obviously. They lived in the Great White North for a few months before settling in Minneapolis. I bet you they got booted out by Canada, said you can't stay here. Rebecca, who was confronting ICE agents outside the SUV, was sobbing, saying it's her fault. I made her come here. It's all my fault. Well, she's admitting. She should have talked to a lawyer because she's admitting that she's guilty of felony murder. That's what we say. Epic Times has 2 shot, 1 injured in Portland. 2 people were shot. City of Portland announced in a statement. According to statement, Portland law enforcement. We're still in the earlier stages. They said we understand the heightened emotion and tension, but I asked the people to remain calm. Yeah, Broncos on with rackets tonight, 2 nights and no tie Bronco. Yeah, I saw that. Is what it is. And the Minnesota governor authorizes the National Guard to support law enforcement. Tim Walz authorized the state's National Guard to be staged and ready to support law enforcement after a violent terrorist was shot by ICE and protesters got crazy, leading to clashes. The troops will be used to protect critical infrastructure and maintain public safety. Oh, exactly what Trump was using them for. Weird how it's okay now. No one's calling him a tyrant and a king and this and that. That's weird. Kids can now make rules, I guess. The governor has repeatedly stoked the flames by calling them Nazis and the Gestapo. They're trying to interfere in the investigation into the fraud in the Somali community. Yesterday, I directed the National Guard to be ready should they be needed. They remain ready in the event where we need to keep the peace, ensure public safety, and allow for peaceful demonstrations. So he thinks the National Guard is going to stop the feds? You don't need the National Guard to provide peaceful demonstrations. That's up to the people. If the people aren't peaceful, that has nothing to do with the National Guard. According to a Homeland Security officer fired to protect himself because Good was driving her vehicle towards him. She hit him with her vehicle. She struck him. Walz and Mayor Jacob Somaliman Frey have condemned the shooting. Well, of course they do. The governor said on January 8th the state had been excluded from the investigation. The state has no authority to investigate. Saying the shooting's under federal jurisdiction. That's correct. Protests flared on the 8th, and Walz gave a pleas to not give in to violence. Walz was serving his first term when George Floyd died during an arrest in Minneapolis, which incited the largest wave of civil unrest in U.S. history. Yeah, that's weird. A multiple felon drug addict dies of an overdose, and it's the worst unrest in U.S. history. The media caused it all, and these politicians. The human desire to lash out this moment is very real. I can tell you that this is the wish of many people. They want to see us turn violent. You're the ones turning violent, dude, and it's your words that are turning violent. Oh, yeah. Feds should leave the state. So he's announcing his intention to secede from the federal government. He wants no feds in the state. He wants the feds out. State and local officials have held multiple news conferences criticizing the Trump administration for surging resources to investigate the system-wide fraud in Minnesota. And they launched the largest, what they've called the largest immigration enforcement operation ever. Some officers went door to door investigating the fraudulent businesses while others arrested criminal illegal immigrants. Federal officials said rhetoric by politicians against ICE resulted in the unprecedented attacks. A 3,200% increase in violent car attacks. Just the News just says, Walz announced, authorized Minnesota National Guard to help police. This says, Minnesota governor deploys the National Guard amid protests over ICE deadly shooting. Walt's wife is a nutcase too. She said she loved the smell of burning stuff in the morning. Yeah, she's nuts. Imagine being 19 and your plane drops inaccurate bombs. Okay, so Minnesota governor authorized the National Guard to help support law enforcement. Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, who's a crazy communist who wants to stab people to protect trans kids. Make sure that folks are demonstrating peacefully is incredibly important to keep each other safe, and that's what's needed right now. People protesting peacefully is up to the people. The fact that you say you have to deploy the National Guard to make them stay peaceful, that means they're not peaceful. Multiple videos show the officer approaching the woman's vehicle leading up to the shooting. She then drives away. Oh, she drove into the person. What's these fucking newspapers, man? Representative Mary Miller, a Republican who represents Illinois, said a sitting governor who threatens to deploy the National Guard against federal law enforcement is an open act of defiance. No, it's an open act of sedition. The Insurrection Act exists for moments like this. Arrest Tim Walz. That's right. Yippee lawmaker calls on Trump to arrest Waltz after governor warns of National Guard move. Well, that's what I say. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Then we got Jasmine. Slavey Crockett says nationwide protests over the ICE shooting. It's a state-sanctioned execution. With Waltz's EO, why hasn't Trump nationalized the Minnesota National Guard? I don't know. Maybe they're going to send. Maybe they'll send a regular military in. Let's see what she says.
The fact that a woman was killed, she was shot in her head, and y'all are pretending like nothing happened. I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you remember what our response was?
Yeah, laughing.
Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay. Is it okay
What?
because you have a badge? Because the last time I checked, allegedly no one is above the law. Can y'all not just have a little bit of courage and humanity?
Who is electing these fucking retards, man? I swear. Fucking lying, fucking Slavey Crockett over here.
Child is lost her mom. And y'all want to pretend that it is okay.
Was it okay for her to try to run over an ICE agent?
I am asking if there is anyone that will stand for the very people that elected us and sent us to Congress. You tell us things like, well, the immigrants are bad. And so we got to get all these bills because the immigrants are the ones that are causing the harm. They're bringing the crime. The mayor of Minneapolis told y'all to get the out.
Oh, okay. So another Democrat that wants a civil war.
This administration
Oh.
that is bringing crime
Mr.
to their
Chair.
streets. That's what's happening.
It's the third incident where somebody has dropped an F-bomb in this committee,
Well,
including the
then
video.
I'm sorry.
Including the
Are
video
your
that we
princess-
had to watch
I
Are your
earlier.
princess ears okay?
Is it profanity?
Are you-
But
the
you're
princess
more
ears
upset
offended?
about my
Representative.
words
The
than
committee-
you are about the fact that a woman
you
The
was
House
soft?
of Representatives.
The gentlelady. Are we
will
offending your
suspend
princess ears? Are they that soft?
Long story short, we are sitting in judiciary, and no one on that side of the aisle seems to care that this particular person, whose name we don't know at this point, became the judge, jury, and executioner. I don't know how you square that. There are going to be protests around this entire country because of the state-sanctioned execution that we all saw unfold, unless there is some kind of justice that takes place and we get the name of that officer, and that officer.
We get the name of that officer. Yeah. Crockett says the killing of a woman was state-sanctioned execution. Yeah. Tensions flared during the Judiciary Committee. That was Swalwell with talking about princess ears. Yeah. There's going to be protests all around this country. Well, yeah, because they're paying for it. Yeah, it's a threat. That's right. It's a threat. And they got his name already. That's right. Long story short, yeah, whatever. Fucking phony. Fucking phonies, man. You got Tim Waltz saying, leave my people alone. So Tim Waltz's people are the illegal aliens, the fraudsters, and the people trying to kill ICE. Yeah, justice would be putting you behind bars. Not going to say it, not going to say it, not going to say it, but I'm thinking it, and you're thinking it too. I'm not going to say it. As we well know, Waltz has always appeared to have a few screws loose, from his delusions of grandeur to his tall tales about his past to bouts of bloviation to his performance of fits of rage. ICE continues to round up illegal aliens in Minneapolis. But now, after a fatal shooting of a person who was a domestic terrorist, Hank says, okay, peoples, I'm out of here. Have a good night. Well, thanks. That's great. I prefer J.D. Vance's stance on this. Yes, we're going to hear J.D. Vance's stance. We going to hear it. We going to hear it. Maybe it's just me, but Walt's unglued diatribe on Wednesday was beyond bizarre, which occurred after it was learned that the FBI is taking over the investigation. The BCA was told it would no longer have access to case materials. Okay. At one point, Waltz said, leave my people alone. Dude was almost wrapped around a far-left axle when he declared with zero proof that he fears we won't get a fair outcome. feels very difficult to get a fair outcome, and I say this because people in a position of power have already passed judgment for the president. You guys passed judgment saying he executed her. So you're saying they passed judgment. You guys are out there saying he murdered her, just shot her, blah, blah, blah. So what do you think? That they shouldn't told you things that are verifiably false, verifiably inaccurate. Like what? We saw the video. They've turned into character. Well, we sent the reporting of this person. Howard said at Waltz, of all people, can accuse anyone of passing judgment before a thorough investigation. You know how Svengali Waltz knows that President Trump members have made verifiably false and inaccurate statements? And worse, most hilarious, was nonsense about the character of the deceased protesters. What difference does a woman's character make? It was her actions, not her character. He says he has not passed judgment on this. Of course he did. As evidenced by his quote in a prior article, leave Minnesota alone. I'm not talking about border security. None of this is accomplishing Trump's mission and making us safer. Just give it a pause. Let us breathe. Yeah, let's breathe. Let us create more fake documents to hide the fraud. And so please just give us a break. Raise your hand if you have a clue what your pal Tim's trying to say other than playing the victim. Waltz, this relentless assault on Minnesota for whatever reason is just cruel. Leave my people alone. I don't know. Do we want to listen to this?
Said it again. I have not passed any judgment on this. And to please, whatever it is, leave Minnesota alone. Earlier this week, I don't know if it was if something he wanted or I've already made it clear. I'm exiting the stage here in a year. But I told him I have a year to continue to do what I love dearly and what I believe I've been good at, making Minnesota a better place to live. The number of calls we got today of parents asking if they should send their kids to school or not. Minneapolis had to make what I believe was the absolute correct decision to cancel school. We have students out of learning today. I would just ask him, I'm not talking anything about border security. I'm not talking anything about what he needs to do on that. None of this is accomplishing either his mission or making us any safer. So just give us a pause. Let us breathe. Look, we're exhausted. We're exhausted as Minnesotans. We're exhausted as Americans. And this relentless assault on Minnesota, for whatever reason, is just cruel now. It has reached cruelness. So please, just give us a break. And if it's me, you're already getting what you want. But leave.
We'll be happy when you're in jail.
Leave our state alone, and look again and see what's happening. It's not me saying it. You're hearing it from me.
What was that guy's name? L. Bud Dwyer? Is that his name? L. Bud Dwyer? So that's his name. Yeah. So here's this. We got NBC's Kelly O'Donnell. Is there a risk with you describing her as a deranged leftist, talking about the very specific facts of the events when your investigation is just beginning? Are you preempting a thorough investigation by drawing to such conclusions? And have you reached any information beyond those videos we've seen? And then J.D. Vance, well, first of all, the Department of Justice is going to investigate this. The Department of Homeland Security is already investigating it. But the simple fact is what you see is what you get. In this case, you have a woman who's trying to obstruct a legitimate law enforcement operation. Nobody debates that. You have a woman who aimed her car at a law enforcement officer and pressed on the accelerator. Nobody debates that. I can believe that her death is a tragedy while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making and a tragedy of the far left who has marshaled an entire movement, a lunatic fringe against our law enforcement officer. And I think what is clearly happening here and what's going to keep on happening unless Democrats wake up and say, you know what? You don't have to agree with our immigration policies. You don't have to agree with what the president and vice president believe about immigration enforcement, but you don't take this. But why don't you take this to the ballot box? Why don't you vote? Why don't you organize? Instead, what you have what some of them are doing is encouraging people to get violent with our law enforcement officials, and it's disgraceful. Hey, what's up, Diamond G? Great to see you. Exhausted because you're not unburdened by Kamala. No human in Minnesota. Congress should pass a bill that anyone who uses speech to fuel violence at least can be fined a lot. They should be. Don't ICE wear body cams? Some, yes, they do, but I don't. They had body cams on, but they weren't activated at that point because they weren't. They're only supposed to. They have to have the body cams on when they're making an arrest of somebody. You know, like with an immigration thing. Yeah, we're only 8 days in 2026, Chooch. That's right. Yeah. So let's see. We got a couple of videos of J.D. Vance.
Is there a risk with you describing her as a deranged leftist, talking about very specific facts of these events, when an investigation is just beginning? Are you preempting a thorough investigation by drawing such conclusions? And have you received any information beyond the videos we've seen publicly about this individual, her specific acts, that has informed your point of view?
Well, first of all, the Department of Justice is going to investigate this. The Department of Homeland Security is already investigating this. But the simple fact is, what you see is what you get in this case. You have a woman who is trying to obstruct a legitimate law enforcement operation. Nobody debates that. You have a woman who aimed her car at a law enforcement officer and pressed on the accelerator. Nobody debates that. I can believe that her death is a tragedy while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making and a tragedy of the far left who has marshaled an entire movement, a lunatic fringe against our law enforcement officers. I think what is clearly happening here, and it's going to keep on happening unless the Democrats wake up and say, you know what, you don't have to agree with our immigration policies. You don't have to agree with what the president or the vice president believe about immigration enforcement. But why don't you take this to the ballot box? Why don't you vote? Why don't you organize? Instead, what some of them are doing is encouraging people to get violent with our law enforcement officials. It's disgraceful, and it's got to stop.
Definitely disgraceful, and it's got to stop. Wow. Then we got this. If you listen closely, the protester in Minneapolis tells the ICE agent arriving for work that they're going to use the federal database of immigration agents to hunt them down when Trump leaves office. Democrats are actively planning on doing this. Yeah. Body cameras aren't good. Batteries aren't good, so they turn them on only when they need for a long shift. Yeah. J.D. Vance went full God mode. Let's see here. Oh, no. She said, we're going to find you and kill you. That's what they said. That's what she said. This is not, we're going to prosecute you. We're going to find you and kill you. That's a threat. That's a crime. That person should be arrested. We're going to find you and kill you. You can't say that. You cannot say we're going to find you and kill you. You can't. I'm going to rewind it. I'm going to turn it up. That's what the person is saying. This thing saying, oh, we're going to use the database to locate you. No. That's not what they're saying. That person should be arrested immediately who said that. So, holy crap, J.D. Vance is livid. Everyone repeating a lie that some innocent woman out for a drive in Minnesota should be ashamed of themselves. Every single one of you. What that headline leaves out is the fact that this very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that the woman was there to interfere with the legitimate law enforcement operation in America. What the headline leaves out is that the woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, dox, assault, and make it impossible for ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals has been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques, to try and make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. You people in the media have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram the guy with her car. He shot back. So he's already been seriously wounded before. She did ram him.
When I was actually walking out here, somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, that's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally, because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers. And part of that is recognizing that you people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you. Questions?
Well, that's fantabulous. You know, and this is what's going on in Minneapolis right now, too, right? All right, just so we know. All right. Minneapolis McDonald's refusing entry to ICE agents. They have a security guard placed outside.
In this McDonald's in Minneapolis, there's a sign on the door that says ICE is not allowed. We couldn't help but notice there's a sign that says no ICE on the door.
Yeah, just to let you know, at the end of the day, this is private property. So you can't just break the law because you're a federal agent. It's like coming into your...
First of all, it's not private property. It's a public business. It's open to the public. It's private property, but it's open to the public. It has to comply with all public accommodation laws and Civil Rights Act and stuff like that. So, see, this game that they're playing here is the same game that Democrats have been playing their entire existence. Let's see how this works out for them. See how the security guard works out when he tries to stop one of them.
house or come into any other restaurant. There's rules. So.
There's rules. You got the rules. Yeah, so they put a sign to say no blacks allowed. See how that works out.
The manager put that on the door. How did that get there?
I'm not sure, but it's there.
How do you guys enforce it?
They read the sign. You know, at the end of the day, you have all right to come in and make a purchase. It's just there's rules and regulations. You can't just walk behind the counter.
And this McDonald's in
you can't just walk behind the counter. Yeah. Pro tip: McDonald's restaurants in the Minneapolis area are posting signs denying access to police and immigration officers. If you see one, contact ownership and determine if they are aware. Rogue employers are posting these without permission at the entrances. Yeah, who came up with these signs? Private property, entry restricted by law. Camera just dork out. You're trespassing. Oh. Somali franchise. Maybe. I don't know. Hey, Joe's here. Says, I know I'm late as F, but I had 4 heart attacks watching the game. The Canes won, so all is good. Well, good for them. Great to see you. Yes, Marco will be the running mate, I believe, for that. So, the McDonald's franchise owner has removed the sign, explained they were replaced by rogue Somali employees. Huh. So who's the security guard? Below is a statement from the company as well as some background. Statement from McDonald's. We're in touch with the owner of this franchise and confirmed this flyer was posted without approval and has been taken down. The owner is reiterating expectations with their restaurant team regarding appropriate signage. Minneapolis McDonald's refused entry, posted a no ICE sign with staff telling agents that the federal officers does not override private property rules. Yeah. They're citing California laws, though. Yeah, it's a group out of California creating the forms. Read the bottom of the poster. It references California codes. And they post, so this is just leftists. A Somali employee who printed off the internet. They corrected the issue. And here's Andy No. Saying the woman shot and killed by ICE in Minneapolis when she accelerated her vehicle towards the agent has been trained by far-left open border extremists to resist federal officials. I thought they don't believe in private property. Yeah, they said they don't. Everything's collective, remember? ICE takes off markings and they don't let them in. Lawsuit time. Yeah. Joe says ICE take, or Pat Acker says the election isn't for 2 years. Bella's such a cute. JD is in serious stance, would hopefully be 8 years. Yeah. I like Marco as Social Secretary of State. He could become like Kissinger, 12 years in that job. Now we know which McDonald's that the illegals are working at. Yeah. Yeah, she was an ICE watch warrior. Renee Good was an ICE watch warrior trained by far-left activists to disrupt and resist agents. The woman was shot after video showed her running into... See, there's a video that's actually telling the truth. The owner realized he didn't want to lose his franchise. Trump is a big McDonald's fan. Yeah. I'm a big Marcos fan. Rubicon crossed. Yeah. Yeah, so... says activists, she worked to resist federal agency in her community. Renee was part of anti-ICE activist group, which came in contact through her son's woke charter school. I think all hard-pressed to find a Mickey D's not full of illegal employees. Yeah. Trump made it from the fry station at McDonald's to POTUS. That should be a movie or something. Yeah. She was trained against ICE agents. So the people that trained her need to be charged. To listen to your commands and know your rights, but she didn't do what she was trained to do then. They trained her wrong. I'd like to see the training. ICE Watch Coalition, a loose coalition of activists to disrupt, block ICE agents from carrying out lawful operations. Those are crimes. They were interfering with ICE operations in Minnesota, and videos show the agent has been in front of her when she accelerated forward, hitting the official who fired his gun. Yeah, so we saw that. After being shot, her car sped out of control and ran into a parked car down the street. Wow. I thought Batman made McDonald's. I don't know. Did Renee Good have a job? Clearly her job was doing this stuff. She became an activist, probably getting paid from some NGO or something like that. We got this. Some bozo just threw an object at ICE in Minneapolis. The agent bolted after him like linebackers, tackling the assailant 75 yards away. It's pretty clear DEI is not too prevalent inside ICE and Border Patrol. Crack kills. They're shooting at everybody, yeah.
Hey, how's it going, man? Good to see you.
Back up!
Yeah, they were from Kansas City, Missouri, or something like that, or from somewhere else. And then when Trump was elected, they moved to Canada to try to get out of the country. And then for some reason came back a couple months later. I have a feeling that the Canadians were like, yeah, you can't just come here. Sorry, we don't just let white people in. And told them to go. Vince says, when they first announced 2016, I was in the corner at first. I made a near fatal mistake of liking Kasich because I thought he would be Reagan. I feel so dumb for that. Yeah, Kasich turned out to be a straight rhino, which we got some rhino stories we might make it to tonight. As someone who has done it, it's hard as F to run with all that crap on. Yeah. Funny I have the gear minus the web system. Yeah, well,
Dude, running with all that gear on?
Who is the chief in charge? Back up! I am medical. Don't worry about it. We have our own medical. If you need a real one, I'm here. Well, we won't. All right, we're moving. Back up. Back up. Hey, just stay back. Hey, just stay back. Stay on the sidewalk. Stay on the sidewalk. Stay back to him. Stay back to him. Yep, stay back to him. Stay back to him. Hey, we stand back, guys. What the fuck are you arresting him for? Get the fuck out of here. Hey, what are you arresting him for? Any answers? Just a tackle? I thought it was secret police force. Name and badge number. This we ain't got one. Name and badge number. What did you arrest him for? This we ain't got one. Fucking pussies. All of you are fucking pussies.
These people, they don't have authority to arrest citizens. When you attack them and hit them, they have the same authority as any other federal officer. You can't throw an object or strike them or do anything. You break any law in front of them, they can arrest you. What do they think this is? Like, oh no, sorry, this is you're not the you're this, you're that. It's just this is like so retarded. These people actually believe this shit. Like it's you. Oh, you're outside of your jurisdiction. No, it doesn't work that way. Hear me out. A10s and flatbed goalkeeper with rubber bullets and beanbags. That would work. That would work. I was one of those who helped Clinton get elected. I voted for Ross Perot. He was Trump before Trump became Trump, a businessman running government like a business. Yeah. I honestly think the whole thing was interconnected. You know, like people thought like Clinton was connected into the whole system. You know, Clinton was involved through the stuff that was happening at the airport in Mina and the cocaine coming in, the CIA. Clinton was just as much tied to the CIA as Bush was. So, you know, that's why it was like, it didn't really matter to them. When Perot came in, they put, Clinton was either way it went, Yeah, they think it's Hollywood, they do. So, and here's what this is, Becca Stoll says, I'm on the ground in Minneapolis for the Daily Wire, and this morning one of the organizers in an AFL-CIO vest thought I was part of the group. Did everyone get the message we're moving out? I said, no, we're moving out. We hit our goal time. Goal time? This is not organic. This is all the people, they got their paid time that they've got to get. And this is the left also here saying he'll be our first martyrs of the people's revolution. This is where we are. An unhinged leftist activist and Zoran Mandami supporter openly praises one of the Texas ICE attackers as the first martyr. Yeah, the people who shot the cop in the neck. In her own words, the revolution means violence, jury tampering, and sabotaging justice. Radical leftists represent the single biggest eternal threat our country faces. Yeah. This is nuts.
This is Nathan Bauman, aka one of several individuals that are currently charged and being held with an ambush at an ICE detention center on the 4th of July. I'll call him a hero. He will be one of the first martyrs of the People's Revolution. It was him, allegedly these individuals that took it upon themselves to try to free the political prisoners that are locked in ICE detention centers.
These people are insane.
So what can you do about it? Make some noise.
Make some noise.
Spread this man's picture. Take a screenshot. Talk about who he is and what he did. If you
He's
are
a terrorist.
in North or Central Texas,
and you're a terrorist supporter. I think we should seriously start.
quit it with this childish bullshit about not wanting to serve on juries. These people are going to need your help. What are we made of, people? Those that sit back and lick boots, or those that stand up and defend their community?
I mean, these people are fucking insane. I don't see John Connor, so who cares? Oh, wait. No. Okay. What is going on? My computer is acting really weird today. No. Oh, so we'll talk about something that's not related to this at all, but there you go. Look at where have we seen this before? Here's Abigail Spanberger and this guy, and it says prominent Virginia Democrat operative arrested on child porn charges. Randon Sprinkle. It is choppy. Is my picture choppy? I think revolution against the U.S. sounds like treason to me. It does sound like insurrection. H.J. Remy's here. What's up? She's a problem waiting to happen. Clean air for all. International water. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, lady. Does this lady have a hairbrush? Yeah. So he was a treasurer for the Metro Richmond area Young Democrats and a former finance chair for the Democrat Party of Virginia. He arrested on child porn charges after sending explicit material on an LGBTQ dating app and trying to arrange a sexual meetup with a minor. Oh, yeah. Madam President. Look at it. Oh, yeah. Democrats are silent. Yeah. These are his friends. Look at these are some of his prominent Democrats' friends. I wonder if any of them have commented on his arrest. How come none of these people are being forced to answer questions? Oh, look at Whitmer. Oh, with a child pornography, a fucking pedophile. Oh, Abigail Spanberger with a pedophile. Oh, look, Pete Buttigieg with a pedophile. They probably shared the pictures with each other. Oh, look, Ted Lieu with a pedophile. What do you know? Man, they get around. They get around. Steve Miller says, like I said yesterday, they will do everything to hedge their prior excuses, which have been debunked. He shot through the side window, proven false by photographs. He wasn't struck by the vehicle, proven false by several video angles. Okay, he was struck by the vehicle, but he wasn't run over. They will do everything in the world to try to avoid telling the readers the truth. Here's the Washington Post. However, video footage of the killing does not show an officer being run over by the vehicle, but instead shooting towards the driver's side window as the driver reverses and pulls away. Is that what happened? Is that what happened? Huh. Is that what happened? Really? Is that what happened? Remember when Trump fell after a loud noise in Butler? Yeah. He shot 2 bullets and 3 through the side window. This is him before shot 3. More importantly, the several videos in the show he was struck. Yeah, this is before shot. So they keep showing the one thing. It was just a bump. It was just a bump in the road. Yeah. Here's Adam Schiff says, Renee Good was just an everyday mom who wasn't involved in protesting and happened to find herself in the wrong place. New York Post, Good was an Ice Watch warrior who trained to resist feds. No one is going to outdo Schiff on lies and distortions. No one. Yeah. I'm not even going to listen to him because it's uncanny how much Adam Schiff resembles Benedict Arnold. It really is, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Jesse Waters about to get rich. AOC stormed out after claiming to a Fox producer that Jesse Waters sexualized her and harassed her on her show.
Would you join him? He accused me of, he has sexualized me on his show. He has sexually harassed me on his show. He has engaged in horrific, sexually exploitative
That's not true,
rhetoric.
Congresswoman.
It is true. It is true because he accused me of wanting to quote unquote.
Hey, what's up, Steve? How you
So why
doing?
don't you tell me what you think is acceptable to tell a woman? Thank you.
Wow. So this is who you are electing to Congress, is a woman who can't even talk to somebody who's accused of sexual harassment and think that there's a different way that you have to talk to someone because they're a woman? Huh. Hey, Rosellian, what's up? Great to see you. Who's John? I don't know who's John you're talking about. What's up? Revolution Against the U.S. Yes, vegans taste like chicken. I don't know who John is. That ass getting fatter, though. Yeah, it is. John was the one. Horrific is a shoe that fits AOC. Yeah, this was AOC storming out of Fox. But I think Jesse Waters should sue her. He said that he sexually harassed her and all this stuff. So that's a crime, and that's defamation per se. And she doesn't get any speech and debate called Pleasance because that happened not on the floor. Everyone minimizing it is, I welcome to stand in front of my car and let me have a go at running them over and see how they feel after. Steve, who's Steve? I don't know. Won't come to vote for her. Yeah. I returned to L03 in Fort Stewart, Georgia. I don't know what is going on. I think Snarf is off his meds. I don't know. John is Jesus' cousin, you heathens. Okay? I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to pay attention. I'm going crazy. Term limits was a thing. So here's John Rocker says the Jubba Value Center turned Jubba Mall turned abandoned building. This was the registered address for the entity that would audit tons of Somalian daycares in Columbus and Minneapolis. Where did they go? Where did who go?
If you want to kick my ass, oye, ¿cómo está? How are you? Fucking door's welded shut. That's normal. Isn't that a fire hazard? To weld your doors shut? Seriously.
Right.
That's wild.
Hit the like
That's
button.
A welded fucking edge right there. So was that one right over there. Weld your doors shut. I'm pretty sure the fire department went out and approved that. So that's a code violation. He thinks this door's rigged to blow. I don't know. I'm touching that. I think I'm touching that thing. It might be rigged to fucking explode. On these fucking.
Uh-oh. That don't look good.
That's strange. I ain't touching that shit.
Looks like somebody tried to break that lock.
That thing's not stuck.
John Rocker.
Well, that's all the effort I'm making for getting something fucking blown off.
Well, Rocker, what do you think? How good of a job you think they're doing in there at auditing?
Well, they don't even have floors or lights now, so not very good. But I'm sure it was open.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
They're doing a hell of a job. I'm sure it was open.
Doing a hell of a job.
Like I said, not exactly Arthur Anderson.
So Joe says, anyone saying the ice station should have done this or that, or if it was them, they would have done something specific, is full of shit. You don't know until the moment comes. Yeah, he was a good pitcher. He really was. He was a good pitcher. Rocker and the Kazenstream brothers. That's funny. This is funny. So the majority of the Somalis in Fort Morgan, Colorado work at this massive meat factory and seem to use their religion as a way to work less and earn more. In 2015, they wanted 11 workers to leave on the production line at once to pray together on the clock. The company negotiated that they could go in groups of 2 to 3 at once so the factory could continue to run. These breaks weren't enough for them. 200 Somalian workers then staged a 3-day walkout, resulting in appropriate firing. But then 130 of them were awarded $11,500 in a discrimination lawsuit. What other community is permitted to go on frequent unauthorized breaks with many other coworkers completely neglecting company operations? Why is this behavior encouraged? Yeah, or remember the guy who worked for the liquor distribution company who said it was against his religion to transport liquor, but they couldn't fire him, and so they basically just had to pay the guy to not do anything because it was a liquor distribution company. Seems like
We are now in Fort Morgan, Colorado at the Cargill Meat Factory, where 20 to 30% of their workforce is Somalian. They actually have prayer rooms inside since 2009. And in 2015, a group of 200 Somalians were fired because they kept leaving the production line. This was against USDA's regulations of needing a continuous production in order to not have contamination within the meat. But this group of Somalians decided to sue for discrimination, and this company ended up settling the lawsuit with $1.5 million in payouts to 138 people. The Council on American Islamic Relations helped them file this lawsuit, which to me sounds completely insane because they were trying to have 11 people leave the production line all at once. And it just makes me think, how come we cannot say it is a part of our religion to just have nap time or whatever we would like? Here in Fort Morgan, the Somali population is 1 to 2%, so around 240 people. I just came into a place called Mendimno grocery store. I saw a sign over there that said that there's a halal market in here, and so I came into this hallway and there's a grocery store right here, but they look closed. They do accept EBT. And there's a few other stores that I would have never expected to be in here. They have similar to the other store and looks like a kitchen over there. Super, super third world-ish in here. I'm just coming to look. The liquor store looks more welcoming than the other places. I just want to compare and contrast what small town America looks like compared to a place like Cedar Riverside, for example, or what this place could look like a few years down the road if the Somalian population grows. So here we have a bicycle store that has their hours of operation on the door, and we know exactly what they do. They sell bicycles. You can see the bicycles right there. They have somebody at the front desk ready to serve us. Hello. How are you? Good, how are you? Good, I'm sorry. I'm just actually exploring the neighborhood. I'm not actually getting a bike. I'm making a video.
Welcome. Take a look around and...
Thank you. I appreciate it. So she said that we could take a look around, and man, they got some nice bikes in here. So you guys can see how as soon as I came in this business, I know exactly what they do, and I'm able to view the same thing that was on the sign. That was a cute little bicycle store. Let's see what we have over here. We have Brown's Shoes. Again, we see shoes and operating hours, and we're also welcomed to come inside. This guy just gave me a whole tour of the different guns that they sell, and I have to say that this ice cream shop that is obviously closed right now, it looks more like a child care center than a lot of other places that we're seeing online right now. I wanted to point out that it doesn't mean your business cannot do multiple different things. Like that gun shop guy, he has a store right next to it that he came out of where they print people's pictures or make copies of papers, and he is able to run both of those businesses, but you see clearly what both of them do. I'd also like to point out that the organization and style is really nice here.
This is just basically her pointing out the differences, I guess, and is this Colorado? I don't know. Anyway. Joe says, us Christians need to demand a chapel wherever Muslims are allowed to pray. Yeah, that would consider that probably hate speech, or somehow we're doing something. COVID vax to call to prayer. I love talking to my guys still, of course. They all have their version of events. It's hilarious. That's why what I miss, not PT or Foreman Wake Up. Yeah, the camaraderie. Sandra says, threats, slander, libel, language that incites violence, lies, and assassination threats to the president are not protected by the First Amendment. Brian says, my brother was at the extraction of the airbase in Afghanistan, and we are the F-16 mechanics. I was a crew chief. My brother is egress. Okay. Now I want ice cream. Lisa McGowan, when did it become illegal to follow ICE agents around? It's illegal to engage in obstruction, is it not? It's a felony. They're not impeding, they're filming, right? She's filming because ICE agents have been known to kill people. These are crazy leftists. Wow. There's people disappearing. There's 1,200 people missing in Alligator Alcatraz. Alligator Alcatraz is a state facility, not an ICE facility, just so. Yeah, I believe the person talking is that politics girl or something is her name.
When did it become illegal to follow ICE agents around.
It's illegal to engage in obstruction of federal law enforcement. Is it not? Is it a felony?
But they're not impeding.
It is a felony.
She was filming, right? She's filming them because ICE agents have been known to kill people because people are disappearing in custody, because we're missing 1,200 people in Alligator Alcatraz.
This is the political vigilantism.
This is not political vigilantism.
You're
These
encouraging
are the
people to
facts.
interfere
I am
with
not
federal law
encouraging people.
enforcement.
I'm saying that
And
we need
people
to
are
get on
getting
tape
killed.
because
yeah,
is lying, because ICE is lying, and because people are getting hurt.
I think that
and
there
they're
is
disappearing.
there is obviously
People are disappearing.
There-
People are being deported.
But hold on,
Amnesty
there's a
International. That's
whole
not me
there's a
being a
big
Democrat.
difference between.
Yeah. This is who the left is. That's politics, girl. Yeah. It's amazing how much leftist discourse is pretending not to understand things, thus making discourse impossible. It is. And look at this. Michael Byrd, the U.S. Capitol Police officer, lieutenant who shot Ashley Babbitt, has run a daycare out of his home for 17 years. Here's where it gets crazy. After 17 years in business, they have never gotten a single review. He has collected millions of dollars in taxpayer dollars. 17 years now, and just add a little more intrigue. Somehow in 17 years, the Bird's Family Daycare and Brandywine has zero reviews. Not a single parent has said they sent their kids there, but that hasn't stopped Mr. Bird from raking in millions. Yes, the Capitol Police officer, who, by the way, isn't certified to take care of kids, well, neither is his wife or anyone who lives at the home. Oh, this is crazy, right? So somehow we all missed on this scam, but these people all figured it out.
This is another one of those stories where I was like, what? So y'all remember Michael Byrd from January 6th? This is the Capitol Hill police officer who decided to murder an unarmed Ashley Babbitt. Well, guess what kind of business he runs out of his home? Yes, he's got some Somali friends who turned him on to a good venture. Yeah, apparently Robert Byrd has been running a daycare out of his house for the last 17 years. Now, just to add a little more intrigue, somehow, in 17 years, the Bird's Family Daycare in Brandywine,
thanks, Critter Sitter.
zero reviews. Not a single parent has said they sent their kids there. But that hasn't stopped Mr. Byrd from raking in millions. Yes, the Capitol Hill police officer, who, by the way, isn't certified to take care of kids. Oh, and neither is his wife or anyone who lives at the home. Yeah, they've been running a daycare out of their house, a daycare, for the last 17 years and have taken in millions of dollars of taxpayer money over that time. And we're all supposed to pretend that's normal.
Yeah, you're supposed to pretend that's normal. I don't think you're supposed to pretend it's normal. Oh, Joe just went members only. That's why I jumped up. So I want to, Sandra says, I'm not attempting to control anything. I was simply passing on information contained within the First Amendment, my right to do so. Nobody was accusing you of controlling anything. This channel, I'm going to tell you right now, Sandra, this channel is a channel that's open to all types of discussion. We take everybody's opinions. We value everybody's opinions. We're going to listen to them. And no one that I saw even disagreed with you. The First Amendment does not protect things that are unlawful. If it's a crime, it's not protected by the First Amendment. So I agree with you. Mm-hmm. You don't have the right to tell me otherwise. Who told you otherwise? Did somebody say something? I don't understand. Did I miss something? Did somebody say something to her that didn't catch? I was not being in any way dismissive. Did I miss something? Anyway, so if I gave you the opinion that I was in any way dismissive or disagreeing with you, I apologize. That was not my intent. Do Democrats give workshop on these scams? I think they actually train them, this whole MGO training. 190 million according to Alex Jones. Wow. Miss Swiss. Hey, SB Farmer, what's up? Great to see you. Just sensitive? Maybe. I don't know. I want everyone to feel welcome to voice their opinions, except for that crazy person that was on Twitch the other day. Oh, my God. That guy was nuts. Just wouldn't let it go. Just wouldn't let it go. See anything going on in Rumble? Lunchtime's over. Not on Rumble. Okay. So yeah, so that's a very interesting thing. Yeah, that shooting was justified. She was driving an SUV into the doors of the Senate offices. Oh wait, God, I'm so messed up. Yeah. Rogue Judge Boasberg is abusing his power to go after the Trump administration. He must be impeached and removed. He abused his role as chief judge in 5 ways. Forced himself on the hot button cases. Abusing his power in judicial conference to fearmonger about the judiciary as specter of non-existent congressional crisis. Jim is doing just fine. Well, thanks, Trumpinator. Thanks for being here. Rubber stamping gag orders. Trying to hold DOJ lawyers in contempt for a case the Supreme Court said he had no jurisdiction over. And these are all things. He sits on the Circuit Judicial Council, which will be able to overturn any disciplinary action taken against him. He must be impeached immediately. I agree. The reason is, I wonder why this hasn't happened.
Judge Boasberg doesn't judge cases involving President Trump impartially. He has made it clear time and time again in his rulings and his comments that he, instead of wearing that black robe, wears, in fact, a blue jersey. He has continually abused the power as chief judge in 5 separate ways. 1, forcing himself onto hot-button cases. 2, abusing his power in the judicial conference to fearmonger to the judiciary about the specter of a non-existent constitutional crisis. 3, rubber-stamped gag orders on subpoenas against U.S. senators. 4, trying to hold DOJ lawyers in contempt for a case the Supreme Court said he had no jurisdiction over. And 5, he sits on the Circuit Judicial Council, which would be able to overturn any disciplinary action taken against him, interestingly. Article 3 has not policed itself. That's the reality. We have to be able to check a rogue judge through the impeachment process, and I don't say that lightly. The House must exercise that power.
Yes, they must exercise that power. I don't know what you mean, Steve. It says the holiday time has slowed your game. The show tonight is a little wonky because I have stories. I didn't have all the correlating Twitter stuff set up in time because I was out all day with some family stuff. So that's why the show's off today. I thought it was good the last couple days though. Yes, please hit the like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Brian's got to work. He's got 3 miles to get there. Good night. Love you all. I appreciate it, Joe. Yeah. Roberts need to be retired. Trump needs a bigger majority. Yes, he does. Remember to chip Jim for being awesome or just sub. Yeah, sub. There you go. Problem is the Senate, they need 60 votes to impeach a judge. They need actually more than 60 votes to impeach a judge. I believe they need 60. I think they need 2/3. I think they need 66 to impeach the judge, I believe, or 67. I think they need more. I'm not a judge. I'm a Democrat activist. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is good. So here's Tim Walz. Says he's never used inflammatory terms regarding what happened to the domestic terrorists. It's a 2/3. Yeah, 67. And then he says he's never used inflammatory terms, and then he calls Kristi Noem an executioner. 1 minute later, Kristi Noem was judge, jury, and basically executioner. Wow. Ooh.
They have determined the character of a 37-year-old mom that they didn't even don't know. They've determined that the actions are done. I don't know. I've not used inflammatory terms of what happened. I've asked us to find the answers. The only way we find the answers is a thorough investigation. I don't have a predetermined notion. Yes, I saw the video. Yes, I saw that. But a thorough investigation will see what happened before that. It will take all factors in, and it will come up with a fair and just conclusion. And we will accept that. Very, very difficult for Minnesotans to think in any way this is going to be fair when Kristi Noem was judge, jury, and basically executioner yesterday. That's very, very difficult to think that they were.
Oh yeah, no, that's not inflammatory at all. Emerald Eye says your game was tonight is stellar. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Alabama John says he wants to talk to you right now. He's also live on Rumble. Dude, you're getting kind of annoying with that, just so you know. These judges do stuff because who's going to stop them? Yeah. Oh, here we go. So The fraud whistleblower retaliation is so bad from Tim Walz, it's worse than even imagined. You lose your job, you lose your home, they'll track your children, they make sure you can't get a job in government. Oh, wow. Ooh, who is this? Wowza. Oh, that's a reporter. Okay. With the boots on and short miniskirt type of thing.
Ms. Rarick, you spoke about the retaliation that many have experienced in light of trying to expose the fraud and the corruption happening in Minnesota. Can you speak more to that and what people are experiencing when they try to sound the alarm on what's happening?
Right. So that retaliation's been going on for quite some time. If you look at what Faye Bernstein said in a news report or Newsweek article back in 2019, it started for her, and she was heavily investigated. She was actually moved to a different state agency. She was, retaliated against in every kind of way you can think. What's happened now is retaliation has escalated, and now it's you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your home, we're going to track your children, we're going to make sure that you can't get a job anywhere else in state government. And for Minnesota, that means probably Minneapolis, St. Paul, Hennepin County, Ramsey County, Duluth, Rochester. You can't get a job anywhere that Democrats control.
That's pretty terrifying. Do you think that's going to prevent people from continuing to speak out on the issue?
Well, we are really hoping that with all of this light on it and, telling people that this is the retaliation, that if something like that does come to fruition, right now it's threats, although some people have been fired, that they have a little bit more ability to speak up and speak to us, and that we can cover them in that way. But it's been really, really bad, and it's been bad for quite some time.
Wow, yes. Joseph, sorry, what happened? The blonde distracted me. Real convenient when your lesbo wife starts recording at the perfect time when you're sideways in the road. Adam, shame on you. Rude. Look what happened to Melissa Hortman and her husband. Yeah. Literally eliminated for going against the Democrat Party. Yeah. The killer mentioned Tim Walz by name in his confession letter. That's right. I think more's going to come out with that. Oh, look at this. Insurrection update. Disney employee incites violence against law enforcement on the air. Jimmy Kimmel pushed the narrative that President Trump is ordering ICE to kill Americans. Sounds good to me. Yes. He isn't just killing people overseas. Get out of Minneapolis. Get out of all the cities. Why is ABC allowing this guy on their network? Yeah.
You know what? Maybe they're trying. I know what they're doing. They're trying out a new slogan. Donald J. Trump is going to kill you.
All right. Anyway, so that's just ridiculous. All right. And the fact that Disney is letting this go and then they renewed his contract. Why isn't President invoking the Insurrection Act is a bigger question. Yes, it is a bigger question. It's a bigger question. So here's the Wikipedia update I was talking about earlier. After driving near the ICE agent, she was shot in the head. This is so far beyond any rational depiction of what really happened. By God, if you argue he didn't need to shoot, that's fine. But claiming she was just driving near the agent? Come on. Come on. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah. Here's a Venn diagram of the Wikipedia editors and Reddit mods. Yeah. How is Kimmel still on TV? We have no standards. Yeah. It is ridiculous. And here, just so the people saying this stuff like, oh, he could have did this, he could have did that. Here you go. In 2018, Officer Amy Caprio confronted a suspect in a stolen Jeep who appeared to comply, then suddenly accelerated straight towards her. She fired one shot, the driver ducked and continued forward, fatally crushing her before fleeing. This is why officers act fast. Hesitation can be fatal.
As the Jeep continued to advance, Officer Caprio got off one shot. WJZ won't show the rest, but a somber jury saw and heard Amy Caprio dying from massive crushing injuries. As the Jeep continued to advance,
she hesitated instead of doing what she should have done, and as soon as he put it in drive, emptied the magazine. So, yeah. The ICE agent involved in yesterday's Minneapolis shooting was previously dragged over 300 feet by this illegal alien child rapist from Guatemala, being harbored by Minnesota fraud governor Tim Walz under his unlawful sanctuary laws.
According to a federal complaint, agents were executing a warrant for 39-year-old Roberto Carlos Munoz. They say Munoz entered the country unlawfully, and he also pled guilty to fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct back in 2023 for abusing a minor. Tuesday morning, agents pulled him over. Court documents say he repeatedly refused to comply before a federal agent took out his spring-loaded window punch with his right hand and broke the driver's side rear window. These images show the officer's hand in the vehicle. In this video, you can see the driver take off with the agent hanging from the car, dragging him 300 feet through front yards. These graphic images show the aftermath. A bloody agent who needed 33 stitches for his significant cuts. And now a political battle with a top Homeland Security official criticizing Governor Tim Walz, posting on X, instead of comparing ICE law enforcement to the Gestapo, Walz should be thanking our brave law enforcement. The Department of Justice says a request for Munoz to be held after that 2022 arrest was, quote, not honored by local authorities, and Munoz was released.
That's right. That's how they do. So here, this is this news. FBI won't cooperate with state investigators. It's not their investigation.
There have been scuffles between protesters and police in Minneapolis a day after a US citizen was shot dead by an immigration agent. Let's go live now to Nine's US correspondent Jonathan Kersley. Jono, it's a tense scene, and the Trump administration is standing by the officer who pulled the trigger.
Yeah, that's the same officer from yesterday.
They absolutely are, Jay. Not only standing by the ICE agent involved, but also attacking the victim, 37-year-old Renee Good. Vice President J.D. Vance calling her a deranged leftist. But what we've seen on the streets of Minneapolis today is yet more anger from those critical not just of the presence of ICE officials within Minneapolis itself, but also at the shooting.
Wow. Crazy. And Axios says, law enforcement in a turf war over the Minneapolis ICE shooting. So the ICE agent's name must be Chad. Yeah, it must be. They let the pedo go. No, not the pedo. The agent who was dragged by the pedo is the same agent that the woman hit with her car and he fired. Yeah, when media pretends not to know how federal and state laws work, they're full of crap like this. Oh, they're in a turf war. It's not a turf war. The federal government restricted Minnesota investigators' access because they have no jurisdiction. And it says, it matters. Lets the Trump administration have unilateral purview over the investigation. It's a federal investigation. Oh, look at this. She was shot and killed after she drove close to federal agents. We saw the video. She strikes the agent with her car. So, whatever. I'm not even going to read any more of this because it's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, the ICE agent who opened fire on Renee Good was dragged hospitalized by a illegal migrant last year. But they let the pedo immigrant go? No, I don't think they let him go. Did they? I would think he got arrested. I didn't look at the story. I would think it happened last year. I would think he's already deported.
The ICE agent who opened fire in Minneapolis Wednesday was dragged 100 yards by an illegal migrant in Minnesota last
300
year.
yards, according to the other
His arm was
sources.
trapped inside the vehicle during a traffic stop, the Post can reveal. Resurfaced Ring camera footage, originally obtained by CBS WCCO, reveals what happened during the incident, which happened on June 17th in Bloomington, Minnesota.
In this video, you can see the driver take off with the agent hanging from the car, dragging him 300 feet through front yards.
The state let
happened as
the state let him go. Yeah, the state did. I'm sorry. The state let him go. The state let him go, and that's why they had to go get him. Sanctuary states refuse federal law or practicing sedition. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, is Jacob Frey gay? Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just asking. I don't know. The story said he was released by the state. The state of Minneapolis, Minnesota, whatever, they released him and didn't tell ICE. That's why ICE had to go get him. FYI, 2 million self-deported last year and 600,000 were forced deported. 300 feet is 100 yards approximately. I thought they said 300 yards. Maybe it was 300 feet. Maybe I'm misremembering.
ICE agents conducted a traffic stop on Roberto Carlos Munoz, an illegal immigrant from Guatemala with a lengthy rap sheet. Munoz refused to exit his vehicle when officers approached his car, and the officer broke the back window in order to open the vehicle from the inside. The suspect then sped away with the ICE agent's arm caught inside. The agent was hospitalized with significant injuries to his arm and hand, requiring 33 stitches, but made a full recovery. Munoz was arrested and charged with assaulting the officer and was convicted by a federal judge last month. On January 7th, the ICE agent in question opened fire on Renee Nicole Good, killing her. Footage from the incident captured her SUV idling across a residential street where ICE agents were conducting an immigration operation when an officer approached her door and ordered her out. She then reversed briefly, then began to drive while turning to her right, prompting the agent who had moved in front of the car to jump out of the way and...
That's bullshit. All right, come on. Well, who is writing this? Who is writing this crap? The ICE agent who opened fire in Minneapolis Wednesday was dragged 100 yards by an illegal immigrant in Minnesota. The attack on the officer, identified in court documents as Jonathan Ross, happened June 17th in Bloomington, Minnesota. Modern day Gestapo. Tim Walsh labeled ICE agents a modern day Gestapo. Yeah. A serial illegal immigrant from Guatemala, Robert Carlos Munoz, a lengthy rap sheet. He refused to exit his vehicle, was approached by the car, and tried to open the vehicle. Suspect sped away with Ross's arm caught between the seat and the car frame. Prosecutors say he was violently dragged more than 100 yards. The suspect weaved back and forth in an attempt to shake him loose from the car. He was hospitalized with significant injuries. A photo shared by CBS showed the agent laid out in a hospital bed. He was arrested and charged with assaulting the officer and convicted by a federal jury last month. The defense attorney said he did not return, for Munoz did not immediately return request for comment. The assault was part of a skyrocketing trend of car attacks against ICE agents. Agents reported 66 attacks compared to only 2 during the same period in 2024. Wow. Well, we've been going 2 hours and 15 minutes, folks. And I don't know how much longer we're going to keep going tonight. We'll see what happens. We're still $55 away from the goal. But we'll see what's up with this. And then Minneapolis Public Schools cancel classes and activities for the rest of the week. Minneapolis Public Schools announced Wednesday night that all classes are canceled so that they can send the kids out to riot in the streets. Protests are expected in the coming days. Oh, are they? Department of Homeland Security says has surged up to 2,000 agents. Has no one made a donation? We're $55 away from the first additional hour. So we had Sue, we had your $25, and I believe another 20 from Joe. That was it tonight. Or I'm not Joe. I'm sorry, from Brian Ogden. 20 from Brian. 2 5s and a 10 from Brian Ogden, and your 25 for Bellavision. But that's it tonight. They showed the lady's car had stuffed animal toys and described her as a mom. My question is, why was she not with her kids? Well, they said they just dropped her off at school, but that doesn't make any sense because the schools were closed because of the holidays. But I knew I would get there. I caught up to live at 1.5 speed. Great show, Jim. Well, thank you. No schools so the parents can go protest. Yeah. You can send them to the Leering Center so the teachers can protest. Yeah. Sunshine says, come on, everybody. Can everyone give $5? Well, actually, there's over 100 people watching. So if everyone just gave $1, it would make it there. No problem. Just got a flash flood warning. If my house floods, everyone needs to know because I live on a high hill. Well, Lady Bama, flooding is no joke. So please be careful. All right. Here, this is other news. Just in, the House of Representatives passes a 3-year extension on Obamacare subsidies. Defiant Republicans joined the Dems. That's right. You had, looks like you had about 10 Republicans join the Demon Rats, which has been a trend lately. 17 defiant Republicans joined the Demon Rats and voted in favor of a 3-year extension. Of course, Brian Fitzpatrick, Mike Lawler, look at this, Bresnahan, McKenzie, Kerry, Monica Dela Cruz, Andrew Garbino, Will Hurd, Dave Joyce, Keen Lalata, Max Miller, Zach Nunn. Oh, of course, Maria Salazar. MTG is no longer in the House. Derek Van Orden, Rob Whitman. The bill will head to the Senate where it's likely dead on arrival. Senate Majority Leader John Thune signaled he won't even bring the bill to a floor vote. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries gloated after more than a dozen Republicans defiantly voted to extend Obamacare subsidies. Earlier this week, 9 Republicans voted to advance this measure after Jeffries filed a discharge petition, giving the Demon Rats power to force the vote. You know, you ever heard of the Demon Rats ever voting for a discharge position that the Republicans put forward? Never. Republicans like to lose. They're losers. All these rhinos. Last year, the Senate rejected more than a dozen dueling health care plans. President Trump has repeatedly called for the Affordable Care Act subsidies to be given to the consumers rather than the fat cat insurance companies. Yeah. So that's what Trump wants to do. All right. Same thing from the Post. Just says the House passes Obamacare subsidies, defying GOP leaders and putting pressure on the Senate. Well, not really. Yeah, Salazar is another messy. Well, Salazar is one who's all for letting all the illegals stay. She supports illegal aliens. She's a phony. She's only saying she's a Republican because she couldn't win in her district if she was a Democrat. And people are too stupid to do anything about it. And then this just in. The Senate votes 52 to 47 to advance Venezuelan war powers resolution to limit President Trump's military action. 5 rhinos join with the Dems. Yes. I hope it dies in the Senate. Play the Hakeem video. Always a good laugh. Okay. Most people don't like the Hakeem videos. So that's why I didn't play it, but okay.
Just delivered a decisive victory for the American people.
Really?
By extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits to prevent tens of millions of Americans from experiencing dramatically increased health insurance premiums. The Senate said it was impossible to do. But where I'm from, difficult takes a day, impossible takes a week. And in this first full week of the new year, House Democrats, every single one of us, joined by 17 Republicans, have partnered in a bipartisan way to protect the health care of the American people. House Democrats said from the very beginning that we would pour every ounce of heart, soul,
it won't happen, Jack.
And strength that we had to stand up for the health care of the American people.
That's not what they're standing up for money for the insurance companies. Trump will veto it. It's not going to get it out of the Senate. It's not going to get 60 votes in the Senate. It's not going to get 60 votes. She's a South Florida Democrat. They'll run as Republicans with the Spanish name to get in. Yeah. Republicans that are Washington General. Sanders says, pointing out what a store should look as opposed to what a Somali store looks like. Oh, yeah, no, you're talking about that other video. That was a while back. Yeah. Timu Obama, 17 rhinos. He just seems slimy. Well, he is slimy. No need to apologize. The Lord is with you that he is a jackass. Government is exempt from Obamacare. Yeah. Still has to pass the Senate. It's not going to pass the Senate. So back to this then. 5 rhinos joined. U.S. Senate on Thursday voted 52 to 47 to advance a war power resolution. Look at who it is. So the guy, Young, from Indiana, Murkowski, Collins, Rand Paul, and Josh Hawley. We have maybe 50 senators, so hopefully it won't happen. I know it's 53, but really, well, obviously these 5 right here, Murkowski, Collins, Rand Paul, and Hawley. Wow. And Young, Indiana. Sounds like she went off the chain. Yeah. Dr. Frankenstein, your creation, Hakeem is glitching. This is the 3rd time the Senate has voted to advance a war powers resolution. After 2 previous unsuccessful attempts, the Senate moved Thursday towards limiting President Trump's ability to strike Venezuela. The Senate voted 52 to 47. 5 rhinos joined the Democrats. He's long teased land strikes. Thursday's vote comes after President Trump ordered military strikes and captured Nicolas Maduro. You can read the grand jury indicted Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. President Trump on Tuesday evening announced that Venezuela will give the United States between 30 to 50 million barrels of oil. Republicans should be ashamed of the senators that just voted with Democrats in an attempt to take away our powers to fight and defend the United States. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Josh Hawley, and Todd Young should never be elected to office again. Despite their stupidity, the War Powers Act is unconstitutional, totally violated Article 2 of the Constitution, as all presidents of the Department of Justice have determined before me. Nevertheless, a more important Senate vote will be taking place next week on this very subject. There's that. All right. But, it's not. This is not going to go anywhere in the House either, and it would take, Trump could just veto it, and it wouldn't matter. There's the AP. Senate pushes back on Trump's military threats against Venezuela with War Powers Act. Well, not really. They could just defund it. Here's news. House fails to override Trump's veto of bipartisan water bill that rankled Boebert. It would be 6 with the cadaver McConnell. I didn't know Hawley was a rhino. For whatever reason, I don't know what Hawley's deal is with this, but he's been very opposed to stopping the drugs. I don't know. Must be something there. Yeah, healthcare has gone up 300+% since Obamacare was passed. That's true. I'm confused by this story because I don't know. An effort to override President Trump's veto of bipartisan bills that cleared Congress last month fell fat Thursday. Lawmakers voted 236 to 188 to override Trump's veto of the Muskogee Reserved Area Amendments Act, falling short of the needed two-thirds majority threshold, sparing the president the embarrassment in the GOP-led Congress. Is veto anyway useless, and then they put a poison pill in it and force Trump, which is not allowed to hand it to him? Well, maybe. Snarf told me I couldn't control the language. Well, Snarf ain't running shit around here. In his mind, he thinks he is, but he's not. The only one running the show is me, with input from the fans, from the people in the chat and everything. I do take your input. Rand Paul seemingly suffers from an undiscovered skull fracture from that fight with his neighbor. Clearly. The House also voted 248 to 177 to undo Trump's veto of the Arkansas Valley Conduit Act, which has been a priority for Colorado lawmakers, but also didn't have enough votes. Last month, Trump issued his first vetoes in the second term, spiking both the projects that cleared the two chambers of Congress unanimously. Didn't clear unanimously. The Muskogee Reserved Area Act gives parts of Florida's Everglades to the tribe. Notably, the Muskogee tribe backed a lawsuit last year challenging Trump's plan to establish alligator Alcatraz. Oh. Despite seeking federal funding and special treatment from the federal government, the Muskogee tribe has actively sought to obstruct reasonable immigration policies that the American people deserve. I got another one here. Oh, well, yo, what's up? I'm really impressed with the specific games you plays. Wow. I don't play games on my streams. To finish, the Arkansas Valley Conduit would have completed a pipeline project to bring clean drinking water to rural areas in eastern plains of Colorado. Boebert had championship the bill to finish the conduit. Those communities are known to have groundwater with high levels of salt, and there's been concerns about radioactivity in some of the wells there. How did they get radioactive? Why don't you get desalination and stuff? The Arkansas Valley Conduit has been in the works for decades and was initially authorized under John F. Kennedy. So something that has been they've been trying to do for 60 years still isn't done, and somehow it's Trump's fault. I think we've wasted enough money on it. It's time to move on. I think I will register as an independent for this election, and Republicans embarrass me. The problem with that in Florida is you can't participate in the primaries then. There's closed primaries in Florida. So if you're not registered as a Republican, you don't get to participate in Republican primaries. But the project has been bogged down by financial and logistical issues. Former President Barack Obama backed legislation to cut the repayment obligation to 35%. Wow. The bipartisan measure championed by Boebert would have given locals an additional 25 years to repay Uncle Sam. Trump cited concerns that the project was economically unviable and knocked the local governments involved for being unable to comply with the repayment requirements. Critics such as Senators John Hickenlooper and Michael Bennet speculated Trump's veto was fueled by the motivation to get revenge on Colorado officials. Oh, they should sue over it and see maybe a judge will order Trump. Maybe the judge will order Trump that he has to sign it. You must sign this bill in the law. You can't veto it. That would be right in par with other shit they've been doing. Adam says the Nigerians are after Jim. Yes, they keep calling me, telling me that I won money, that the prince wants to give me money. Around the time of his veto, Trump commended former clerk and recorder of Mesa County Tina Peters, who was convicted of charges involving a scheme. No, she did not. This is bullshit. She was arrested and charged with making a copy of the database before they could overwrite it to show what they did. That's why. The veto drew the wrath of Boebert, a staunch Trump ally who rarely crosses the president. President Trump decided to veto a completely non-controversial bipartisan bill that passed both the House and Senate unanimously. Why? I must have missed a rally where he stood in Colorado and promised to personally derail critical water infrastructure. The last successful override of President veto was 5 years ago during the very end of the first Trump term when Congress quashed his bid to reject the National Defense Authorization Act. Oh, yeah, what do you know? Democrats get stuff done and Republicans just complain about the stuff they get done. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? This Trump's second term vetoes stay intact after House fails to override. Yeah. I mean, this is just dumb. Dozens of House Republicans defied Trump and joined Democrats in failed veto override attempt. It's just dumb to do it because if you don't have the votes, you're just putting a target on your back. Yeah. This is House passes 3-bill spending package. The package was resulted in negotiations among top appropriators. Oh, yeah, of course it was. House overwhelmingly passed a package of 3 bills on January 8th, funding multiple departments. The bills provide billions of dollars in funding for the Department of Commerce, Justice, Energy, Interior. More than $10 billion has been designated for the EPA. $10 billion for the EPA. What does the EPA need $10 billion for? One bill sets aside $1.7 billion for the Department of Interior and $360 million for something else, $50 billion for the Department of Energy. Where's this money coming from? How will we get some of the fraud money back? I think Trump has done a lot in a year. Me too. So this says, I wanted to read this one because it's got some stuff. I think so too, Pat. Uniparty fraud. I know, Jim. I don't care. Idiots will vote Salazar back in anyway because she's Cuban. Trust me, the new Cubans are not Republicans as they think. Salazar is one. Yes, she was born in Miami. House passes $180 billion funding package after conservative rebellion over Minnesota fraud fears. Representative Ilhan, I married my brother Omar, requested more than $1 million for a Minneapolis-based social justice project. Some more fraud. Minnesotan mayors warned that fraud and overspending could raise property taxes. Silly Congress. Money printer only goes burr for Wall Street. Yeah.
The pressure is getting even higher for Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Nearly 100 mayors in his state penned a letter to leaders expressing concerns over the state's fiscal policy amid the ongoing fraud scandal. Part of the letter reads, fraud, unchecked spending, and inconsistent fiscal management in St. Paul have trickled down to our cities. Our state owes it to our citizens to practice responsible fiscal management and to stop taxing our families, seniors, and businesses out of Minnesota. Let's bring in now Andrew Mullen, the mayor of Wayzata, Minnesota. He is one of the mayors who signed onto this letter. Sir, thank you for joining us on this Christmas Eve. We greatly appreciate your time. In your words,
yes.
Why did you sign onto this letter? Why is it so important?
Sure. Well, good morning and Merry Christmas to you in studio and to all your viewers. You know, Minnesotans this season are waking up to coals in their stockings thanks to their government and a Grinch who stole Christmas, which is this egregious fraud. You know, many mayors signed onto this letter, including me. You know, in addition to the fraud, I have profound concerns about the macro level economy of Minnesota and how we're going to pay to clean up this mess and go forward. And, you know, if you're a mayor, you're on the front lines, right? You're out there providing the basic services of police, fire, water, streets. And with all of this egregious fraud and overspending, what's left over to trickle down to invest in our local communities? Our taxpayers are going to make up the difference in the form of property taxes locally. And that's the primary reason why I signed on. We have to get them to pay attention, not to just the fraud, but what's the macro level path forward to fix it.
Hey, what's up, Whistler P-hole? Great to see you.
Out of this hole.
Yeah, and some of the points that are
yes,
made
you
here,
saw it right.
You're looking
you saw
at
it
the
right.
Minnesota Chamber of Commerce report and some of the challenges that the state is facing, where the state is ranking compared to all of the other states all across the nation, and also making the argument that, you know, all of your cities are facing slowed business investment, rising costs. There are tax issues at play here as well. I mean, what do you want to say to your state government? What changes would you like to see?
Well, sure. If you note that Minnesota Commerce report, it's a rolling 5-year report, and we
let's see. So House Representative passed a federal funding package of $180 billion. Legislation accounts for $174 billion aimed at partially or fully funding the Departments of Commerce and them. It comes after the bills ran into opposition from conservative Republicans on Wednesday. Members of the House Freedom Caucus and others on the GOP's right flank were increasingly incensed, in particular with the Commerce, Justice, Science Appropriations Bill, which they felt rank and file lawmakers did not get a proper input putting together. It's one of 12 appropriation bills Congress is tasked with passing each fiscal year. It's a minibus, and it came to a head during a procedural vote over the inclusion of a community funding project requested by Squad member Ilhan Omar. What's up, Whistling P-hole? Great to see you. The bill would have given $1 million to Generation Hope's Justice Empowerment Initiative, which helps justice-involved Minneapolis residents break the cycle through job training. It would just have been mayors are on the front lines of allowing a Dunkin' Donuts to build next door to a 60-year-old donut shop. Fraud is running rampant in Minnesota under failed leadership of Tim Walz, and this is Somali-led Justice Empowerment Initiative abuses taxpayer dollars. So nope, sorry, you get nothing. Earmarks the currency of corruption, says Chip Roy. He was among conservatives who Mike Johnson negotiated with on the House floor for nearly an hour as the minibus was in danger of failing due to a procedural vote. In the end, GOP leaders agreed to hold a separate vote on the spending bill, while also removing Omar's earmark, which is supported by Minnesota's 2 senators. Of course it was. Chalk up one for the good guys. Yes, chalk up one for the good guys. All right. And then we're going to have this says Denmark and Greenland envoys meet with the White House officials over Trump's call for a takeover of Greenland.
Thank you. On Greenland, do you have a message for European leaders? Many in Europe reject the idea that the island could be for sale.
Well, first of all, Secretary Rubio, I believe.
Oh, come on.
He was meeting with the leaders of Denmark and Greenland next week, I want to say it is, but maybe it's the week after that. We'll continue to deliver some of these messages in private, some of them in public, but I guess my advice to European leaders and anybody else would be to take the President of the United States seriously. What has he said about Greenland? Set to the side the crazy overreactions that I've seen from the press and from certain people in Europe. What has the President said? Number one, Greenland is really important, not just to America's missile defense, but to the world's missile defense. Number two, we know that there are hostile adversaries that have shown a lot of interest in that particular territory, that particular slice of the world. So what we're asking our European friends to do is to take the security of that landmass more seriously, because if they're not, the United States is going to have to do something about it. What that is, I'll leave that to the President as we continue to engage in diplomacy with our European friends and everybody on this particular topic. And again, thank you all for listening.
That's right. Thank you all for listening, and thanks you all for being here. I want to thank everybody who was here tonight. All right. We didn't hit the goal, but that's okay. We did an extra half hour. I want to thank everybody for being here. I'll see you all again Friday night, hopefully earlier, maybe 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Hopefully you have a good long show. I want to send you over to another show called Third Ralify if you want to say hi to them. And, whatever, it's a smaller channel and stuff, and they do good news stuff. Thank you all for being here, and come on back for Jim to tell you the news.